Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SpawnCast episode 176. We had a lot of big things happen this week, kind of unexpected, obviously, at the beginning of the week because it was a big delay, leaks, and Epic all of a sudden, just one day waking up and deciding they wanted to go to war with Apple and Google. And so, yeah, that a lot of fun stuff to go over here today. But we do have our guest tonight. We have Jeff Grubb, in very much in the news recently, Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, I always try to do something once a week to make sure I don't get that lack of endorphin rush of seeing my name mentioned everywhere. Yeah, thanks for having me on, though. I really appreciate it.
Yes, your list is coming together for the summer game mess. It's coming together.
Yeah, I hope it's coming to an end. Is really what I'm hoping.
Yeah, when does that end? Are we calling that at the end of at September?
When I started it, I did it all the way through Gamescom because that's when Jeff Keighley said the Game Fest was going to go through. So yeah, but by the time Gamescom has come and gone, I'm shutting that thing down for sure.
We're still in part one, I hear.
I know, yeah, right. Just phase one of the Summer Game Fest.
Yes.
Should end any year now. Yeah.
I think a lot of naming was going on that should have like Xbox 2020 and all that stuff. So a lot of stuff to get into. We'll have some fun tonight. Jordan, what's up? I still like your room. Your room's pretty cool, dude.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Hi. What's going on? Glad to be here.
It's very. Is that purple? It looks like purple on your camera.
It's gonna change. It's gonna go back to like blue or green or something. Okay. There you go. See, now it's blue.
Okay,
just like that.
Jordan started up the movie Kickstarter. How's that going?
Yeah, that was the big announcement that I had for Thursday. I'm trying to make a movie with a great talented group of people, and we're almost on our third day. We're about like 3,000 shy of halfway to our goal.
Wow, nice.
So I'm very, very thankful for anyone who has checked it out, who has supported it, who has shared it around. It's blowing me away, and I'm really excited to hopefully make this project come true.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. What was the movie called?
It's called Reset.
Awesome. Very cool, dude. Max, what's going on?
Just hanging out, playing a lot of games this week, and trying to keep up with this crazy news.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's happening. It sounds like a lot more stuff's going to be happening over the next couple weeks too. So things should hopefully be picking up even outside of just leaks and these big companies fighting it out. Nate, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. You're watching the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Oh, okay, nice,
classic,
nice. You're doing a lot of text hiding this week, I noticed. So maybe you can.
Not really. I had a podcast up this week with MVG and Jeff.
It was a good podcast. It was.
We talked about Nintendo's month of August and what they may have in store for us that people should listen to if you want to know what Nintendo's up to for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it got that new. It was so good. It got that Newswave shout out.
Damn right it did.
Yes, it did.
That's where it deserves to be.
People to go listen to it. So it was
listen to it.
Very fun podcast. We got Sean.
Yo,
on the podcast.
At least for now.
You may have to leave in like an hour and 20 minutes. You said so.
Yeah, roughly.
The door, the door might have a knock, and randomly this video feed just cuts out. So,
well, she's down the street at a Mexican joint with her girlfriend drinking like margaritas and shit, and I'm like, yeah, just keep drinking. She was like, well, I'm like, yeah, Sean, chill, bro.
Hold on, but yeah. About to get demonetized in the first 90 seconds.
This man's about to get canceled, bro. Chill. No, not like that. Just like, just
hang out. Yeah, hang out.
Yeah, hang out down there and, let me do my thing. And all right.
When you're nice and sober,
talk about the Yankees game
house.
that's coming on.
Talk about the Yankees game.
Come over when you're drunk. Bye.
That's romance.
Click's not here, so so.
OJ, what's going on, man? Player Essence, how you doing?
Yeah, I don't have any women waiting for me outside, or anything like that. So she happens to be very far away for right now. But I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Good to have you on as always. Good to have you on.
It's good to be here.
And we got MVG. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How's everything going over there?
Going good, man. It's been a busy week, but yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah, very good, very good. Then we got Evan as usual, monitoring,
managing
checking
all of this
things out,
nonsense.
keeping an eye on things. So good to see.
Fingers
So
crossed Comcast doesn't decide to do another 6-hour downtime again.
Yeah, they did a 6-hour downtime the other night. That was wild. Yes. Okay. So we can go into some of the games we've been playing. I'll start. I did play the Tony Hawk demo. I really like the Tony Hawk demo. I know myself and Max at least had a chance to play it a bit early and do videos on it, and it is very good. I am very happy with it. It's a $40 game, so going into it, I was expecting the remake of 1 and 2 kind of being all mashed together, and it plays well. It's a little different feeling. The physics are off. You feel heavier, but
I like it though.
yeah, it feels a bit more, slightly more realistic, even though we're going to be doing some wild stuff in the game, right?
Well, yeah, man, it's like a middle-aged Tony Hawk now, right? I mean, he's not,
he's 55.
He's like
he looks it. He looks it. Every time he's on that board, he's like, "Let me just get this ollie going."
They make it so if you do the 900, it cuts it close. Like when you land, I think it does it on purpose. So it's like you barely get around in time. But then you put all the cheats on and you can do 900s like just skating along on flat because they have like cheats you can just enable immediately. But there was also something weird. I don't know if it's going to work into a story, Max, because we haven't heard much about any of that. But you notice how if you fall, your character does this weird like glitch teleport thing to stand up.
And it makes the rewind noise. I like that.
Yeah, it's a VHS effect.
Yeah. So I like that. That's a pretty cool idea. I don't know if they'll work into it somehow, or in the beginning, like you're like, I don't know, you're in your room or something, you pop a VHS in and start watching. I don't know if they could do something fun with that, but
I think it's that I think they're just being very self-aware of it, because I remember it's famously a couple of those skate parks don't exist anymore. Like there was a big deal. Some of those skate parks that were giant in the 90s were demolished. So I think that they're just going to kind of acknowledge it in just in those subtle ways. So kind of being like, this is 90s Tony Hawk now.
Also, the one thing they asked us not to show was the opening movie.
Yeah,
and that intro movie is awesome. So people should go watch it. That is a really cool movie intro movie in the beginning. It's like 2 or 3 minutes long, but it's like super nostalgia, like hits you in the feels. So, but it was pretty cool. I like it though. Looking forward to it. It's out in what 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah,
it's soon. So I'll be playing quite a bit of that. What about Jeff? Would you play this week? Anything fun?
Yeah, that Tony Hawk demo as well. I really was having a lot of fun with that. It was I didn't know you could put in cheats, or else I might not have tried so hard to get the like 1 million points just with like the regular.
If you go
skater.
Yeah, if you go back to the option, it's like it's called game mods, and it's just something you just check them and it just goes on. It's really cool.
Well, I'm gonna go back to because I like made it my goal. Like I'm just gonna try to get 1 million points in like the 2 minutes or whatever. And it took like about an hour, and I was able to get that, and it felt really good. It's right on point. I love the Tony Hawk games, back in the day, and I'm really happy that this one feels so exactly right. I guess I'm not surprised based on like the Vicarious coming in and doing.
They're doing some good work.
They've done some good work. They've always done good work with the Tony Hawk games. It's like a support studio or like a port studio, and they're coming through with this one for sure. I've also been playing Battletoads, and I can't talk about like reviewing it, but I did play it at E3 last year, and I'm going to talk about that. And I had a lot of fun playing it at E3, where it was like it looks a lot better when you actually have your hands on the controller than when you're watching on a video. On the video, it does look like a Flash game, and then for some reason when you're actually controlling it, it doesn't, and I don't know what that is. And it feels really good, like the actual punching and the hitting, the connection. It was very reminiscent of the recent Streets of Rage 4. Like it felt good to punch things, and that was something that Battletoads always had. And like Battletoads was never a great game, but it did feel good to like connect with those big punches and like the sort of the delay they do on the frame delay when you actually hit something and connect. It does that even to an extreme in this version. So when I can talk about the review version of the game, I'll be looking forward to that. But when I played at E3, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's out on the 20th. So that's actually that's next week. Yeah,
coming soon.
I'll download it on Game Pass. We'll see how that goes. I'll be curious if that's a game that they push for like 120 frames next gen on, because that's like not a big 3D looking game or anything.
Right, they should be able to do that pretty easily. Yeah, I agree.
Get the Ori treatment. What about Sean?
Man, I haven't played like nothing new. I actually reset up my 32X and played a bunch of Shadow Squadron for some reason. It actually looks really good when you play it with the HD Retrovision cables.
Sean, you're going back to retro games right now?
Yeah, I did that video today, so I played a bunch of compilations just to sort of refresh my memory on some of them that I haven't played in a while. Retro game compilations on the Nintendo Switch. Be sure to watch that video. And Friday the 13th, baby, the servers are back. I actually played with someone in the chat, Infernal Tim. So I'm sitting there playing it, and the first 2 games they killed Jason, and I'm like, damn, either Jason must be shitty or they're like working together or something. But then the 3rd game, I was Jason, and dude, I got bodied. I only killed 3 out of 8, and like Tim was one of them because he kept saying, "Don't kill me. I'm a fan of your show. I'll watch you on the SpawnCast." I was like, "No, fuck that. You are the main target now." But yeah, like these people were like next level Friday the 13th players, like some of the best I've ever played with. But yeah, still fun as hell. Still a great game.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Let's go to MVG.
Man, I haven't really been playing much. I've been busting out the Wii U, so I've been playing
Wii U?
Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. That's my game of the week. So I went back and been replaying that.
We need Ninja Gaiden to come over to the Switch already.
Well, yeah, I kind of just had some nostalgia for it, so I wanted to replay it again. I know it's not the best Ninja Gaiden game out of the series, but 3, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's there's nothing wrong with it, but I prefer Ninja Gaiden Black on the OG Xbox. I think that's probably
Ninja Gaiden Black and 2 were really good. I like 2 a lot too on the 360.
Yeah. What about the DS version? That's the best one.
Oh,
Dragon Sword. Dragon Sword is 60 frame per second game.
It's a good game. I'm not joking.
Good game. Love that.
Man,
You play that game book style, which is interesting.
Yeah. I couldn't get my head around that one. That was weird.
They should do something with Ninja Gaiden again. Even if it's not a new one, just start moving them around and porting them to like the Switch and stuff. That and Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid needs that too.
It seems like they've kind of forgot about that because like Neo's been doing so well just on the PlayStation 4. So I don't know. Maybe go back to it. I know Yaiba kind of flopped or whatever that game was. That game was trash. I love Ninja Gaiden, by the way. I beat every single Ninja Gaiden game. I hate those games, but I love those games. Like they really suck, but I love them. You know what I'm saying? Like Ninja Gaiden games are trash, but they're great also at the same time.
Let's go over to OJ. What'd you play this week, man?
Been playing more Persona 5 Royal. I'm more thinking that this game is probably one of the best games that I've ever played. I think I'm about 40 hours plus into it now, and it is phenomenal. I'm just continuing to go. I have an eye limit, so I can't my doctor put me on like an eye limit, so I can't be looking at video games and computer screens as long as I want to. So I want to play the game more, and I want to get more into it, but I have to limit myself. But played another probably 10 hours this past week total. Just playing a couple hours each night, and really, really enjoying it. Definitely one of the best probably my favorite PlayStation 4 game on the system by far. Really like what they've done with all of the upgrades and stuff, like all of the little like quality of life stuff that they put over Persona 5 and the new student. I'm getting into a little bit of that stuff as well. They got some funny stuff in there, some funny cameo and type of like kind of like relating back to like pop culture that they put in there too, that they added in that wasn't in the original Persona 5. So that's pretty funny. So I'm getting into some of that stuff as well. So been playing a lot of that. Played GameCube, played Path of Radiance again today. And it's great. Path of Radiance is fantastic. It's kind of like the old school Fire Emblem. Really like that as well. And I played with Dreamcast Guy and Ms. Click this week for the first time. I played Fall Guys. Which is a bunch of fun, and I got a crown dub for the SpawnCast crew. So
nice.
I got one. I got one.
Dude. It was that he ended up getting the catch the tail, be the last person with the tail, and OJ just kept jumping all the way on top of this like a big jungle gym in the middle, and OJ just kept just running back and forth across it. And everyone's just chasing him around the sides.
Oh, nice.
Chat was losing it.
That game was trash, but it's also good. It's also a game that's trash. That's garbage, but it's also very fun. So yeah, Fall Guys is great. I know Jim Casca, you said that Fall Guys is a bit better on PlayStation. It feels a bit tighter,
it feels more responsive. It's definitely much lower resolution. Like compared to PC. PC obviously it looks great. It's kind of has a muddyish look on PS4, but the controls are much more responsive in my opinion.
Okay. I might think about maybe. I have a free PS Plus voucher thingy, so I might check it out on there. But yeah, I'm actually enjoying Fall Guys. It's fun. Like I know a lot of people are playing it, some people hate on it, whatever the case is. But it's just like a fun little game that you can play for on stream. I think that's playing the game on stream is cool because it's easy, it's simple, You can jump right in. You don't got to worry about elaborate controls or anything like that. You can just get right into it and play and try to even get a dub. You know, this is really just more, it tests like your basic knowledge of like platformers and stuff like that. Cause like you're jumping a lot, you're moving around a lot. So if you're okay at those, then Fall Guys should be right up your alley. It's only $20, so it's not too bad. If you have PS Plus, you can just download it on there. So yeah, man, I'm enjoying that. Played some more. Got destroyed the last time that I played. Didn't do anywhere near as good as I did before, but still having fun with that. So I think that's everything that I played.
Let's go over to Jordan.
I finished playing through Judgment.
Wow, nice.
That game rocks. I like it.
I always tout it as like it's the worst like Gears of War. And after replaying it now, I guess what came out like 2013, right? You get kind of like a new perspective on it. It gets better the longer the pre-story goes on, because there's a little aftermath thing which ties into Gears of War 3. But it's these little missions with like extra bonuses you can do each round. It's short, it's quick. And surprisingly, the graphics hold up pretty damn well.
I think we all thought you were talking about the other Judgment.
You tricked MVG pretty hard into saying Gears of War Judgment rocks.
Yeah, that was a whiplash right there, I'll be honest.
I take back my devil sign.
I didn't even pay attention. You guys all got tricked. Got him. You think I'm ever going to play the other Judgment? Trash. I only play good Judgment games. Like
I'm not simping for you anymore.
No.
No, but for real, it was good. I'm sure other Judgment's better. Sorry for misleading the public. Our government does better.
Like, you played a good game? Oh, wait a minute. No, you didn't.
Let's go over to Dreamcast guy.
This week I beat Mortal Shell, but I can't talk about it until Monday. But I have so much to say. So Monday morning, I finally get to put out a big video on it. You guys know I love Dark Souls. It's basically indie Dark Souls. But what I can talk about is after everybody was talking about it, I decided to download Rogue Company.
Yeah.
I played a bunch of Rogue Company this week. That's a fun game. Good little game. I can't see myself.
I played that too.
I can't see myself playing it long term, but like as a thing to play for a week. I enjoyed it this week. I don't know if I'll ever play it again.
It needs more. It doesn't have a lot of content to it right now is the only problem.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's so easy to play favorites with the rogue. Like once you have like a character you're good with and a good gun you're good with, there's no reason to play anything else. Kinda. It's like I have one main and one backup. But I like it. I like it.
We had fun with that. I think it was me, Sean, and Wood and Kevin. I think we're playing it. That was fun. That was a good time. So I think that's a game I'll pick up and play here and there, like 2 or 3 matches. Then I'm like, I'm good, moving on. So kind of pick up and play type game. All right, Nate. Let's hear it.
Nothing really this week. I've been playing a couple of games that are still under embargo.
Oh.
I think I can name one. It's is it Windscape? The game that looks like Breath of the Wild.
Windbound.
The Oceanhorn, was it?
Not Oceanhorn.
Oh, so the different one.
That's a more blatant Breath of the Wild ripoff.
Yeah,
that looks like Skyward Sword. That doesn't look like.
I thought you were talking about that. What was the other? No, what was the other game that looks like they're climbing stuff? Is that
that's Genshin Impact.
Yeah,
that's the one that the Chinese gamers started smashing their PS4s to.
I actually want to play that game just to see.
Me too.
I'm totally getting that game.
It's horny anime Zelda. Yeah, who doesn't want to play it? Yeah.
So how many? Okay, so which game were you talking about, Nate? You said it was Windbound.
Windbound. Yeah, Windbound. But it's under embargo until it comes out, so I can't really say much about that. And shut up, Fringe. What else did I play this week? Nothing. I don't think anything else really. It's been a slow week in terms of gaming.
Okay. What about Evan?
A lot of Fall Guys this week. Between commissions, I've just been playing Fall Guys, getting wins, stuff like that.
Nice. Okay. I did play more Avengers, by the way, after the podcast. It's still pretty bad. Okay. So I think that's everything, though. Yeah. Cool. All right. Very good. Let's. Evan, we got Discord questions over there.
Excluding Breath of the Wild, since we were just kind of talking about that, what are your favorite Zelda games?
Link to the Past.
Ocarina.
Link's Awakening.
Link Between Worlds and Link's Awakening. Yeah.
Wind Waker.
Look at all this
Hourglass.
Look at all this disrespect for Ocarina, the greatest of the Zeldas.
We're not basic. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, basic answer.
I mean, Ocarina just copied what Link to the Past did.
True.
Yeah, it made it better.
Hourglass. It was better.
Ocarina did something. It felt like a completely different game when I played it.
It was epic.
Yeah, because there was no Z targeting. Like,
it was
Don't be like that. Don't be like that idiot developer for fucking Bleeding Edge. GoldenEye was trash. It was trash when it came out.
Ocarina of Time was epically 15 frames, so it was good.
Yeah, but at the time though, that's how the games were. So it was okay.
Yeah. Looking back on it now, I think Link to the Past aged better.
Phantom Hourglass, pretty good.
I played through Ocarina so much that it doesn't have that magic anymore. Whereas Link's Awakening still, I love the Link's Awakening remake especially.
Okay. No one's at Oracle of Ages or Seasons.
Because they suck.
I enjoyed them, but
Link's Awakening's better. Yeah,
I enjoyed them, but I never had anyone that played it near me, so I couldn't do like their little.
No Minish Cap love. No Minish
Cap's good.
Four Swords. I liked Four Swords. I mean, it's fucking Zelda, man. I mean, there's so many great games in it.
Yeah, Phantom Hourglass, the only one you need.
Spirit Tracks.
I'll defend
Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks.
Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, it's all right.
Wand of Gamelon. Come on.
I unironically love. Not Wind Waker. What is it called? I unironically love Phantom Hourglass.
That's what I've been saying for 20 minutes. No one takes me seriously.
I didn't hate it.
Play it. It's good.
The problem is that if your hand's too big, that's the problem with Phantom Hourglass. That if you got big hands, you're covering up the screen and you got to play like this.
Hey, that sounds like a genetic problem. Take it up with your mama, all right?
I got these little tiny.
So I don't have tiny hands. I don't have little baby hands to play.
Evan, we got another
tiny baby hands. Just don't have to have giant monster hands.
We have another Metal Gear question of the week. Choose any game studio to tackle the next AAA Metal Gear game.
Not Kojima Productions.
No, not Kojima.
I'm gonna say
not Kojima.
No,
Square Enix.
Because I've used the wrestling analogy so many times. There needs to be someone. If Kojima had to answer to someone, then sure. But the problem is Kojima doesn't have to answer to anyone. And it would just be batshit stupid with a million Hollywood voice actors.
How is that bad? Like, nothing you're saying sounds bad to me. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, Sean. Right now you're pitching the best Metal Gear game in years.
No. It would be like more Metal Gear Solid 5, and I can't stomach that.
I'll take Kojima. That's fine.
Maybe he'll predict the future again.
No, Sweary should come in and do it. Sweary, give Sweary Metal Gear. Let him just make it.
I mean, I need Metal Gear to be above 10 frames per second. Is all I'm saying.
No, I mean, just wild.
Realistically, though, I would say probably Square Enix would probably be able to maybe do something with that. But
I'd give it to Guerrilla. To do it. Why not?
You mean the Sony studio?
That is tough. That's good with storytelling and good character development. So, give it to Monster Games. That's their forte. They make quality NASCAR games. Why not put solid?
And a decent energy drink.
Monster, the Nintendo company?
It used to be with Nintendo. Now they make NASCAR Heat.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Game Freak. There you go.
Metal Gear
Game
from
Freak
Sucker Punch. Let's do it.
Game Freak.
We'll get all 890 something Pokemon.
It look exactly like Game Boy Solid, Metal Gear Solid on the Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Solid.
That's a great game.
Is there gonna be a tree in it from the Game Boy?
Game Boy Solid. That's my favorite. That's my favorite
Game Boy Solid.
That's what they should have called Metal Gear Solid on it.
Let's see, Evan. We have another Discord question.
Let's see. Do you think Mega Man could get a new series, or will they just elaborate on the current one from here?
We'll get a new series? I don't know. I figured X9 was going to happen, but I don't know. What else?
You got to believe.
Yeah.
Mega Man's in a tough spot. I remember my coworker, Mike Minotti's a huge Mega Man fan, and he met the CEO of Capcom like maybe a year, like a little bit after, what was the most recent one? The reboot? Or the
11.
Yeah, so that came out. And he liked it. He gave it a good review. He's talking to the CEO. He's like, "Man, I just hope we get more." And the CEO's like, "Didn't really sell well enough for them to keep doing it." So, it's kind of where Mega Man has been perpetually for a long time now. So, I hope they do more, but that's just where that series is right now.
You go back
we just need Battle Network and we just need Legends. The other series don't matter.
What? X9, man.
No, we don't need any more X's or regular series. No, we're good. They've had too many.
Yo, Grub, when did you talk to him? When was that conversation?
I didn't talk to him. This is a secondhand from my coworker, but it was a several months after 11 came out.
Okay, several months after. Okay, because they did announce that it did sell over 1 million units. Yeah, but maybe that's
Back
not
in
enough for,
November.
Maybe it was on discount and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it came back around. Maybe the Switch version helped put it over eventually. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
but I'm
yeah.
guessing they probably don't think that's that much either. For all the
Yeah, I mean, for what they're doing right now with all their other games, that's just an opportunity cost, right? You're going to do another million, or you're going to put that effort into Monster Hunter. I mean, the answer's pretty clear.
Monster Hunter, and then
Resident Evil Monster Hunter, Resident Evil Monster.
Yep.
basically, yeah. So, oh well. Let's see, Evan, how many more Discord questions do we have? Just so I know for
I think 5. Looks
okay,
like 5.
that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll come back around to some of those. So do we want to, I guess, jump in the first topic here, which is Halo Infinite? Because Halo Infinite has been delayed, and that is a problem. That was a weird day, by the way, because it was like the news got out there, and then people on Twitter were like before it actually got out there, people on Twitter were like, oh man, like Jeff, you said, there's too many games coming out this year.
Yeah, I was going to go upstairs and go to the bathroom. I work down here in my basement, and as I'm walking up the steps, I get a text message, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I read right back down to my computer and start writing the story, and then 10 minutes later, they made the announcement. So
there were some people behind the scenes talking about it being delayed, and then they made the announcement, and that was like the internet just caught on fire right then and there, because that is the game that was supposed to launch next to Series X. They said, I would say, 5 or 6 times that's the game that would show what the Series X is capable of doing. So here we are now with Halo Infinite being pushed to next year, and it is an odd situation, but it seemed that they even mentioned that COVID plays a part in it. As Nate, you have said several times that games are being pushed more and more because of that, and Microsoft, I guess, moved a lot of their stuff. I think everyone got moved to remote work. I don't think anyone goes into the offices anymore, unless you're maybe at the top at different times, but they don't have individual people going in there for developing or anything anymore. So, I mean, we saw Xbox 2020 disappear. That stopped. They were like, we can't do that anymore. And now Halo Infinite gets pushed. So the Series X is in a weird spot. It's going to launch this holiday. We assume still, and it won't have Halo.
Could be the X flop.
And the problem we're running into is the pricing too. That could be higher than people were estimating at first now. What if that's I know that it's rumor territory with that, because we're talking about Monster energy drink, which didn't Monster have massive promotions with cans and stuff for Halo Infinite as well?
Mm-hmm. It was tied together.
Yeah, that's
that Series X and Halo Infinite. Yeah,
that's tough too. How many I guess companies were just relying on Halo to launch this holiday, and now it's it might not even be early 2021. That might be I
don't think it's going to be early
summer probably. Yeah,
it's a year away, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's going to fall into August or something, or September.
Probably. Yeah, we're probably looking at.
I mean, you got that gives them a chance to to reestablish the narrative with E3, and then you say Halo's also coming, but now we're talking about even more games than we talked about last time, and now Halo's here and it's good, and I know they're trying to really figure this out to make sure that people aren't quite as upset, but yeah, I mean, they don't have anything at launch, so what are you gonna do?
I will say we watched that. A lot of us watched the gameplay they showed, and we came here and talked about it the following that week, and a lot of us were like, something was wrong with that build. Something was wrong. That literally might have just been what they had ready to go, and it was now I'm like, okay, yeah, we were probably right on with that, because you don't delay it if it's good to go.
They took a gamble. They basically went to the July event and they rolled the dice and they said, if public reception is good, we're going to launch it as planned, and we're going to patch it in. Like they said, we're going to add ray tracing and everything. We all knew the game was coming in hot as soon as they came out with that information of, we have to update this game. We're going to add in all that new lighting, all these upgraded textures and stuff later. And they took that gamble, and the public reception was negative. So they had to sit down and they had to have that meeting and say, what are we going to do? Do we delay it and we have to survive those 8 months with the system until we get the game out? Or do we still launch it hot and hope people are okay with it? And they made the right decision. Delay the game as long as it takes, give it the development time it needs, make it good. And, you're going to have to start writing checks. You're going to have to secure some timed exclusives. You're going to have to get some new services and games on Game Pass. You're going to have to create value for those first 6 to 8 months, because Halo Infinite is the only cross-gen game from Xbox Game Studios that's coming to the Xbox One. Come 2022, everything's Xbox Series X exclusive. So they're going to be in a great spot in 16 months.
Well,
It's
12,
the first
12,
12, it's going to be
well,
brutal.
12 months from now, right? So a year from now, let's say they're checking things out and they're like, man, not a lot of people are playing the Xbox One right now. People have moved on to the Series S or the Series X, like this time next year. Do you think that during planning, do they start to drop that cross-platform support? Like,
I think it comes down to I think they need to even if people aren't playing their Xbox Ones, you don't always want your Netflix, but you probably have your Netflix account all the time. They need to keep giving people reasons to subscribe to Game Pass on their Xbox One, even if they aren't using it, because that's the real reason all of this is happening. Someone mentioned this to me and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. It's like, if you're going to continue supporting the old system, it's because you can't tell people, oh, all these games going forward are only going to be on Xbox Series X, but also please keep subscribing to Game Pass for eventually when you do decide to upgrade. They need to be convinced that, oh no, we're going to have that support, and then eventually when we do get the better system, all that stuff that was already working will just be better. But yeah, because of Game Pass, they kind of have to continue to promise support for quite some time. But if they're looking at the metrics and they see enough people upgrade quickly, or if they or people really are just continuing to subscribe without even looking, maybe they will stop supporting, but going forward for a while they need to.
Because I was curious because Nate has the VCR over there, and I'm wondering if they're building out Halo Infinite, and they're like, this VCR is it's struggling bad with this game right now. Because we've seen what the Xbox One S with Anthem get, like it was like 20 frames when Digital Foundry was showing it at times. It was like that was the obvious system that was struggling the whole time, and I wonder about that. If they're like, what if we didn't have to have the Xbox One VCR as part of Halo Infinite right now, like a year from now? What if it doesn't come out till next November? Like at that point, we're going another holiday cycle.
Yeah, a free-to-play multiplayer. There's no way they're going to want it on everything. It's going to run on like really basic PCs. So
well, what if the multiplayer? Because the multiplayer generally tends to be less demanding because they'll knock the visuals down, they'll do all this stuff. What if the free-to-play multiplayer is on all this stuff, but the campaign is exclusive to the Series X?
Didn't they say that the free-to-play multiplayer was exclusive to the Series X?
No,
I don't think they did. They might 120 frame.
No,
I've read those articles multiple times. They didn't.
They said it's free on Series X.
Right.
Yeah,
but
I think
that's
exclusive to Series X.
I think that's branding. It's just that they're trying to be like, Halo Infinite's coming everywhere. Get the free multiplayer on Series X. They're just trying to remind you, please buy our console. Please, we really need the money.
That sounds right.
So they also talked about how they had thought about releasing Halo in parts, and
Great idea.
want. Well, okay. What if they labeled the free-to-play multiplayer as something different, and Infinite was just a campaign, and they released the multiplayer this holiday to go alongside the Series X? Yeah. That I would have actually been okay with that if it was the multiplayer, because let's face it, Sean's not going to play the campaign.
No.
I will play the campaign multiple times, but like Sean has already told me,
I haven't beat a Halo campaign since ODST. They're trash. I don't like Halo campaigns. They're no upgrades. They're just boring. The multiplayer is great though.
Damn, Halo 1's campaign's great.
It was great back then. It's just not great now. The campaigns
Halo Reach is pretty good. I like
Dude,
that
Master
one.
Chief is space Jesus. Master Chief died for your sins. How dare you slay?
They're so much better. The multiplayer
Halo 5 had one of the worst campaigns I've ever played.
you could skip Halo 5. That's fine.
Yeah.
Halo 5 was I mean, I've played them all. I just don't beat them.
So I do wonder about that, if they had been like, you know what, maybe we will push this free to play mode because it's free to play, and they just released it on Game Pass, and maybe it comes out with 4 maps, and they're like, we'll add more later or something. Maybe they just didn't want to do that with Halo. I don't know. That might have at least softened the blow of a Halo Infinite delay.
Now they need to figure something else out to soften the blow now. So who knows? But that they need to figure something.
Launch the beta for Halo. There you go. Do that.
They probably will do that. Yeah.
I've been sort of passing this idea around, but I wanted to pitch it to you guys. What if they tried to do some sort of like what if they called it Halo Early Access, or maybe Halo First Contact, or some cringy thing, but it is basically Halo Early Access? What if they just are very, very clear? What if they just show us a roadmap and they're like, hey, like you're getting, like you said, 4 multiplayer maps in November, you get half the campaign in March. Like, what if it becomes the biggest Halo ever, but over the course of 12 months, like 4 big updates instead of just... Because honestly, they need people to buy it. Like honestly, the thing is they need people to buy it. I get it for that,
but that sets a bad precedent for anything happening in the future. Because all these developers could be like, why finish the game when we can start getting money now and continue to work on it?
That was our fear about Game Pass in the first place, is that they would push unfinished stuff. So part of me is like, okay, it's good that they didn't go that route, because that would just confirm what I believe to be true, which is that if the game's not ready, they'll be like, well, it's a subscription service and they're already paying, so just push it out there. They instead delayed it. Because they could have plastered Halo Infinite all over Game Pass and it's not a finished product, and they would have still got signups. But it's good to a degree to see them delay it and care about the quality of. I mean, that's their IP. That's it right there.
343 needs an actual win with Halo.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Here's the real question: Why did it take this long for them to delay the game? Because hold on. Because the creative director left. Right, it's been a while, like 12 months ago now. There's been some high-profile people leave the company that have all been, in the media. We know that the game has suffered development hell, and it's everything that we've heard. It's just been a bit of a mess. Microsoft is great at mitigating, those types of stories when they kind of start to come out, but they're very, very quick to just say, business as usual. It's coming out this holiday. It's going to be great. So why did it come to this point? Literally the 13th hour that they've finally turned around and said, you know what, shit, we may have to delay this game because it's not ready.
Well,
there's voices inside the entire time saying we have to delay this, and they're not just good at mitigating it externally, they're good at mitigating that sort of thing internally, like, no, we'll figure this out. Like, if you are a team player, you're going to push through and you're going to figure this out and you're going to get it done. And then those voices are still saying, we need to delay it. And then you get the backlash and you could say, you're one of those voices saying we need to delay it. Now you're like, here's all this evidence of everyone agreeing with my perspective and everyone that's backing me up saying, here are many reasons why this game's not ready. And they can tell just from the little gameplay snippet that we showed. So please listen to me. And now those voices have won out because of public perception.
Yeah, I was a little confused, because there were people who were completely fine with that, like what they were shown, and I was a little off with that, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, this doesn't it looked like they played it on an Xbox One and not a Series X or anything, or even a high-end PC.
I was okay with it because my assumption was that was like captures from like February, because remember that was what they were supposed to show at E3, right? So I just felt like that was a pretty early build of the game that they were showing off, and the graphics looked like absolute garbage, but the gameplay was on point, and the gameplay I was pretty happy with. So I just kind of felt like it wasn't that far off, where it needed to be, and I just felt like, the statements that we heard after that came out from 343 saying, this game is getting a lot more polished than what you guys have seen. I felt like that was enough, for me to think, well, they got a handle on this, but obviously that was not the case.
But you know what? It's fine, because Phil Spencer's still there. Daddy Phil is going to save the day like he's saved every year for the Xbox brand and made it.
Yeah, that myth making has always been out of hand, right? It's never been like he's good at talking frankly, and I think that endears him to a lot of people. But I've never been convinced by this idea that he has such a firm grasp on what needs to happen with Xbox. I still feel like he is a bit back on his heels. Like, they have an idea, they have a strategy going forward. They do believe in Game Pass, that he's being aggressive with that stuff. But in terms of like winning over the audience that is like watching this podcast and everyone who's on it, I still think he's not exactly sure how to go about doing that. But when they say things like, I feel really good about our upcoming showcase, and then we see it and we're like, why were you feeling that good about it? We're different people. He has that. I think he probably, like, it's hard for him to understand exactly what we want from him. And I've always felt that way.
Hold on though. Is it him, or is it a bunch of company yes men feeding him what he wants to hear? You know what I'm saying?
Possible. Yeah.
Yeah. But after 6 years plus, I mean, you should kind of see the writing on the wall that, hey, maybe these people aren't, that I've surrounded myself with aren't the ones helping. Because and one thing I've heard a bunch of people say that I found very interesting. I was on Mooch's podcast last night because evidently I felt like doing a podcast 3 days in a row. One of the things that, because he had a couple diehard Xbox people in there. I believe one of them was actually called Xbot. But one of their
name very unique,
right? Kid Smooth is gonna send him a DCMA. But they were saying, Game Pass is gonna help sell the Series X in lieu of Halo. And to that I say, if that was the case, then why was the Xbox One not very successful? And one of the retorts was, well, it wasn't there at the launch of the system. Okay, that's fine. But why was the Xbox One, why did it never reach, huge levels of success if Game Pass was going to get, to me, Game Pass is something to keep people on Xbox systems, but I don't really feel like it necessarily brings in a lot of new people to the Xbox brand, because if that was the case, then wouldn't the Xbox One have been more popular?
Well, can I say this about the Xbox?
You can say
One,
anything you want.
All things considered, the Xbox One, if you look at the first party lineup and you look at what that had, it did okay. What, 50 million?
Here's the thing. I like some of the Xbox One exclusives. Rise. I liked Rise. I didn't play Rise until this year, and I was like, wow, this is a pretty decent game. This is why do people shit on this game? Sunset Overdrive.
It's not good.
No, it's good. Quantum Sunset Overdrive.
Why do people say it? Because it's not good, but
like Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, these were very good, enjoyable games.
Horizon 4.
You got Halos on there. You got Gears, like
Crimson Dragon.
It's very it's very bizarre to me, and I just feel like
you're right.
I mean, Rare Replay.
Let's take a retrospective. Let's take a retrospective of the Xbox One versus the PS4 launch.
Yeah, the Kinect
had Rise, Dead Rising, versus Knack and Killzone.
It was
overall, you probably give the edge to the Xbox One in terms of actual launch.
$400 versus $500.
Yeah, $400.
Kinect killed the Xbox One in the early days.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. It never recovered. It actually never recovered from the first conference when they said you can't play used games. It didn't matter that
but also 400. Like when PlayStation came out and said 400. This is why they're holding off on price. Like Sony has always done this. This is how Sony's won each generation, and they know this. Is like you go back to Saturn, and Saturn's like this really expensive box to make, and Sega's like, yeah, we're gonna sell it for $399, and then Sony comes out and the one number they say is $299, and then friggin' Sega's like, okay, I guess we're gonna cut the price and we're gonna lose a bunch of money, and then Sony's like, we make this box so cheap, we're gonna go to $199. Like they could just keep cutting the price, and then they easily beat Sega, and then they did the same thing to Xbox One with $400 versus $500. And by the time that Microsoft was able to match that, it was too late. It was definitely too late. And now they're trying to do the same thing right now, but both companies are trying to do it, and we're not going to find out the price till the fucking 10 days before, maybe.
Now that's good though, because I want it to be fair. I don't want Sony can't just be coming out and undercutting everybody. Like it's like put out the price that you're going to put. You know what I'm saying? Like they're playing chicken back and forth. Like,
they should just write it down, put it in an envelope, and have someone else open it up.
Stop banking on that crap to win. Like, put out your price, and then that's that.
I mean, it's the biggest thing that matters.
Why,
they're going to play on it.
Yeah, why can't they do that, OJ? That's
what I'm saying. Like, they're always waiting, and Microsoft's not going to sit there and wait for them this time. Everyone's saying, oh, people think they need to say the price. Well, no, they're not going to, because Sony always be doing that crap. So if I'm at Microsoft, I'm not going to sit there and say a price and then get that happen to me again. Like, have that happen over and over in the course of history. So that's the reason why we don't got a price. We got to wait.
We are 3 months out from these systems launching.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Supposedly launched.
Allegedly.
Sony wouldn't stop doing that, then we'd have prices by now.
The crazy thing is, like we just established, the Xbox One launch lineup was substantially better than the Series X launch lineup.
I mean, at this point, we think the Xbox Series X might launch the first week of November. That very well could happen.
But GT, I think that point that you're making though just speaks to the games not mattering that much at launch. They just don't. Like with launch games, the launch period, the first year of a system, we don't really remember this stuff. It's all the games that come after that, and those systems in that first year are going to just continue to sell based on the promises of the future. That's absolutely what happened to the PS4. PS4 didn't have a lot of great games for a long time because Sony didn't think the system was going to sell, but they still sold the promise. But when it started selling, they're like, oh man, we got to invest in this stuff for 2017 and 2018. And then they really delivered on those things, and now people have a really fond memory of that entire generation. But it was kind of grim there at the beginning. But the point is, it didn't matter though, and so. Is it going to matter for Microsoft? I think it might matter a little bit more, but if they can live up, if they can keep promising stuff, if they come out and they do start talking about Perfect Dark or whatever, and they show reasons to actually get excited about that, and they have other surprises, and they're willing to continuing to spend money, people might forget about Halo pretty quickly, and until it comes out, and then all of a sudden it is better and it delivers. They can get out of this. Is basically the point here. We'll just have to see if they can actually.
I gotta spend some money.
One thing that I think has to be factored into, especially the first year for both systems, is the impact that COVID-19 is going to have. From economics and such, like you're going to sell out of your launch units. That's a given. In the first 2 to 3 months, you're probably going to sell well. But what are we looking at come March 2021 in terms of hardware sales? That's when economic impacts could be hitting people's wallets a little harder. And all of a sudden, the luxury item of a video game console is probably, it's not going to be in the forefront of your mind. The launch hype is over. If Sony's not coming out with any big games, Microsoft is still void of Halo and, first-party exclusives, all of a sudden that wait doesn't seem that bad. And now we're getting into holiday 2021, or, in the promise of 2022 from Microsoft of some of their big games like, Forza, Fable, Avowed and such. We might be looking at almost a delayed launch of sorts from these consoles, where those first 12 months are going to be minimal, but they're going to find life in those, second and third year, because we really don't know how COVID-19 is going to impact these launches. I mean, and not just from stock, just how the perception from the public is going to be received.
So
Rent
two things.
or Xbox.
Today on stream, I was looking up when they revealed the price of the last, every generation of consoles. And for the last 20 years, they've usually revealed the price of the console at E3.
Yeah, we had the Xbox Scorpio got announced there, and then we saw the price.
Yep. And then same with PS2. I looked it up specifically for PS2 today. And something that's been different is, okay, so we're getting the price later. I do think, though, that something that's going to kind of change this next generation is the hyper focus on backwards compatibility. I do think a lot of gamers, if they already have the money laying around, they're going to be more willing to get the PlayStation 5 and Series X, even if it doesn't have launch games, because it still plays their huge existing catalog. And I think that's something that hasn't really existed in the same way. Like those, it's the big reason a lot of people bought the PS2, even though there weren't a lot of PS2 games, is because, hey, it plays all my PS1 games. Okay. And they said even back then, remember, they used to say, this will play your PlayStation 1 games better. If you look at the PlayStation 2 menus, it says smoothing and quick load. So I think it's going to be the same thing. The big selling point is going to be plays your PS4 games better. And also, I promise we're making PS5 games.
When you get a new graphics card, when you get a new graphics card, what's the first thing you do? You don't play a new game. You play the old games that you are really familiar with, so you can see how much better it runs.
Yep.
People are going to do the same thing here.
And
you run a
the Xbox Series X would probably be the advantage there with the Game Pass, and that they're already promising, Gears 5, we're going to add ray tracing, and all these new features are going to increase the resolution, frame rate. They're going to add HDR to original Xbox games. Microsoft's approach to backwards compatibility of the Series X is nothing short of astonishing. Whereas Sony is still wishy-washy. Some of your games are going to play in boost mode, others won't. Any game released after July is going to be backwards compatible, so you can play Ghost on it. We haven't committed to anything about The Last of Us Part 2. We'll probably just remaster it. They've been all over the place with their message, and Microsoft is, whatever game you have in the Xbox One right now, you can play on your Series X and you're going to get some, advantages. That's a nice message. It's probably the best marketing Microsoft has done for their platform, because ever since then, they've, continued to fall over their own feet.
Control reiterated the importance of I know people like to jump all over smart. I can't remember the name of it right now. Smart delivery. And they're like, oh, it's a rebranded thing that we've had forever. But it's like something like Control Ultimate Edition comes along and everyone's like, what's the deal here? But with certain games, smart delivery is putting pressure on developers to actually follow through and make it cheap or free to upgrade. So yeah, I agree.
Let's go over here. Sean, can you do a Macho Man impression, personally?
Oh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage is on the SpawnCast tonight. It's the cream of the crop.
This real macho madness, like Slim Jims. I dig it. Also, Sean, is Omega or Hangman turning? That's from Macho Man Randy Savage.
Everyone tells me Hangman. I see Omega turning, because Omega's a better heel and he's kind of getting stagnant, and it would open up a lot more storyline opportunities, I feel.
Yeah, who really knows at this point? It's pretty up in the air.
These bowlers, man, they're always getting.
Yeah, they're really playing cricket intensely. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck all of you.
When's that second channel coming, Sean?
Soon.
You told us that a year ago.
Yeah, if there's any breaking wrestling news, I'm like, let me go check out Tables, Ladders, and Sean and see.
Soon means different things to different people.
What is this, Nintendo soon?
Yeah, there you go.
Did you secretly make the channel last year and you just haven't published it yet? Is that
you give me way too much credit. You give me way too much credit.
Jesse says, me and the kids are watching from our tent on end of summer camp trip. My 7-year-old son Jordan wanted to say hi and he loves games. Hi Jordan. Thanks for tuning in.
I love games. I'm not 7, but I like games.
Thanks, Jesse. Luke says, do you read donations? Maybe.
No.
Never.
Arjun says, Nate and MVG in the house. Hacked my Wii U today. Looking forward to some cool stuff to do with it on Monday.
Good man. Good man.
Ian says, MVG, that beard got you looking dignified, my dude.
Thank you. We're working on it.
Looking good.
Infernal says, Sean, before you leave, I apologize for teabagging you today. Is that in Friday the 13th?
Yep.
No, that's a real life thing.
He's good. He was good. He was very good at the game, but I killed him. So
imagine teabagging in Friday the 13th. That's all I gotta say. Like
on the Switch
imagine the mindset you've got to be to
platforms.
teabag in that game.
it's a great
That's
game.
all I gotta say.
Wolfman says, does anyone have news on a new Monster Hunter game coming to Switch? That's been a rumor for a while now, is that Capcom is working on a specific Monster Hunter game for the Switch.
Indeed.
It's been going. I feel like we heard about that like a year and a half. That's been a long time.
We heard about that shortly after the Generations got released, and they were like, it did all right. We might put one out, and then that was it.
Even after that, I thought it was brought up again, but like, I don't know.
Brought up on an awful. It was brought up originally before Monster Hunter World was actually even announced. So
that's right.
It's been a little while now.
There you go. Maybe we're getting close to a reveal for that at some point. Maybe next year. There you go.
Too busy counting their money from Iceborne. Probably.
Oh,
Just gotta
right.
stop counting the
That
money
game
from Iceborne.
keeps selling. Can you imagine them having 2 super successful Monster Hunter games next to each other, one on the Switch, and then like
They need to stop
world
counting the
and
money, then they
expansion?
can finally work on the game. If they just stop counting it for just a second.
Like I keep trying to go to the studio, but the doors are getting blocked by all this money. I can't get in there.
No, literally, that's what they're doing. You know, they're happy as hell. They're like, God dang, like what? This used to be a franchise that didn't sell anything or sold a lot less, and now we're selling in the tens of millions. Like, we don't need to make anything. We can just make Monster Hunter World forever.
Zaf says, beat Origami King. My first Paper Mario. Liked the story, not the combat. Played Thousand Year Door for the first time on Dolphin. Amazing. Now I get why fans hate Origami King.
Hate is strong. Hate is strong. It's a solid game.
Check out Bug Fables too. If you're playing Dolphin on your PC, you should be able to play Bug Fables too. Then that's a good one to check out.
I don't know, man. Origami King doubled up on Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on sales. Just kind of blew it out of the water there. So I don't know. People, I guess people hate it.
I mean, you could play neither.
You could, or not.
You could go outside, ride a bike. I don't know.
Yeah, you could go play cricket or whatever they do in that wrestling thing.
Yeah, it did. Paper Mario did sell well, but Madden sells well every year, and well, it's Madden.
Madden's great.
It was great the first time, not the 32nd time or something.
You didn't specify which year. You just said Madden.
Matthew Hammond says, how many Switch games will outsell the Wii U total console sales at 13.56 million at the end of the Switch's life?
A lot.
15 to 20 probably.
A lot. Yeah.
There's already 5 that are getting close to 20 million, right?
Yeah. There's a couple that are going to be close to 30 million next report we get. I think Mario Kart and Animal Crossing will be right there. So.
And that's bonkers. That's like I keep going to this comparison, but Final Fantasy VII Remake selling like 5-6 million, and then Animal Crossing at 22 million.
Yeah,
a different world, man.
Yep.
Don't underestimate the power of the villager.
Did we ever get numbers on like? Do we have total numbers for Splatoon 2? Because I love that game. Did Splatoon 2 do well?
It's the best selling.
Over 10.
Yeah, it's evergreen.
7 million.
Good. Okay.
It's the best selling one. Yeah, it's probably gonna end up doubling up the first one.
Almost 11 million for that game. It's like 10.7 something or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it is then. Yeah,
it is
10.71 to be exact.
There we go. Limited Time Gamer says, thanks for the Persona recommendation. Top 5 game. Then Royal came out. Best updated game I've seen.
Yes, that's a very good comment.
Brandon Davis says, RGT, you're a god among men.
Thank you.
Castlemania Games just says, cheers. Thanks, Castlemania, as usual. Talking to Castlemania about a few things. Might have some videos coming up soon, Sean. We'll see. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out for that retro world, isn't there?
Yeah, he sent me something, and I meant to send him a message back that it was way beyond my simple brain.
I know.
You know exactly. He said, "You want to review this?" And I wanted to be like, "Fuck no! You know who I am. I can't."
I'm waiting for that thumbnail of you like having it right here, and you're just like, before you buy. I think I'm getting the same thing. And if I do, maybe what we'll do, Sean, is I'll walk you through how to
come on,
just do it over FaceTime or something on your phone.
I was thinking that, yeah. While I like put mine together, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Console Gamer says, I don't like Ocarina of Time just because of the "Hey You" all the time. Also, got to upload the judgment moment from Fringe to the SpawnCast clip. The Basement Fan says, do you think Mario Odyssey 2 is a hidden thing this year? Next year Zelda has like 13 titles not on Switch. Next year Metroid 1-4 and Trilogy, Kid Icarus 1 and 2, Sakurai Sun masterpiece ever.
What?
Was that a sentence?
I've been activated. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the keywords.
I read it exactly as it was typed here.
I'm pretty sure he was licking sugar before he typed that comment.
I agree with every word. That's the thing. I agree with all of it.
The complete sentence at the top is, do you think Mario Odyssey 2 is a hidden thing this year?
No.
that it goes off the rails. No, I think they'll go with the 3D collection that's been rumored forever now.
That guy pressed super chat and then he pressed the voice to text and just went, "What do you think about Mario Ninja?"
Mirror Shield says, Microsoft is fine launching without Halo. I'd rather have a good game than rushed one, and they can make a special edition console to push console sales at that time. They would do something like that a year after I buy a Series X, introduce the Halo Series X that I would want. But
they should shape it like Master Chief's helmet. That'd be a cool
system? The system
yeah.
itself?
Why not? We're getting these just a tower now, so why not
the
play with
visor
the
would
shape
light
of the
up when you
tower?
turn it on? It'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Let me buy an actual system helmet.
Steve G says, is Banjo a possibility for Xbox Series X or Switch? I'd like to see Banjo, Kazooie, or Tooie get moved to the Switch just as they are, like how they are on the Xbox now. I think that'd be cool. They're very, very well done on the Xbox One, so that's like the best way to play them. I would like to see them do a sequel as well for the Series X, but I don't know. It's Microsoft. Nintendo set them up perfectly, and they haven't done anything with it yet. So
there's probably more stuff coming from Xbox to Switch soon, but we'll see.
Yeah,
small stuff, smaller games.
What was that? Hinting? Heard it here first, bitches.
Space Jam 64 says, who would you guys be as video game characters? That was a good question. I don't know.
I like Vice from Skies of Arcadia, because I'm always curious about stuff and it gets me into trouble. I like the idea of just, I'm going to crash my ship into the ocean and now I'm going to go over here and kill pirates.
I'd be Tifa there.
Whoa.
That's a good question, though.
Snake. I'd like to be Snake. You got cigarettes. You got, drinks. It's hot women.
You got a disease that's gonna kill you prematurely.
Hey.
I can only imagine RGT doing stealth. Well, I gotta get in here.
If I eat all these beans, I'll fart. I can't eat all the beans anymore.
Gotta get into this girl's house.
Jeff's ready to be smoking. Two cigarettes. Oh man!
Looking at me.
He's got stealth camouflage on. There's clouds. Your stealth camouflage.
The raccoon riding on your shoulder. It'd be great.
I'll be Birdo from Super Mario 2.
Okay.
I just want to shoot eggs at people. Sounds fun.
Sure.
Who doesn't, man?
Sure.
Dude, when you ever get pissed off and someone's driving, they cut you off, I just want to shoot an egg at them, dude.
Yeah, if you had an egg to blow out your face whenever you wanted to, that'd be very useful.
Dude, if someone pissed you off, that no one would mess with you. Like, that's the egg guy. We don't mess with him. We don't mess with him.
His eggs smell. You don't want to fuck with them.
Best road rage ever. Just roll down the window. Just
they're
blast someone's
expired.
car
These eggs
window.
are. This is like 1,000 years old.
Evan, do we have another Discord question we can hit us with?
Kind of in what we were just talking about with the Xbox. Would Microsoft consider a 6-month Game Pass subscription for buying a Series X or Series S since they won't have first-party games at launch?
Should.
That's not a bad idea.
Yes, but I don't know if it's going to be 6 months, but I think they'll do something along those lines.
3 months, and then a coupon for the Pop-Tarts to give you an extra month. It'll be great.
There we go. Yeah, they definitely have to drop some codes in those boxes on the way out. Or I think they do that thing now where they just tie it to the console once you turn it on. It just ties it now, so you don't have to punch a code in anymore. But yeah, I have a feeling Game Pass is coming with any of those systems this holiday just to get you in the door. That makes sense. But we have another Discord question, Evan.
With Activision reviving Tony Hawk, Crash, and Spyro, do we think it's time for them to bring back Guitar Hero or something like Prototype or True Crime?
Wow, all the games they went with those 3.
Guitar Hero.
Prototype.
I like True Crime.
Yeah,
I
love
Prototype.
The
True
first
Crime
one
Streets
was
of
cool.
LA was good. I think it's when New York happened. It was like,
well, they tried to make the character like way too over the top.
But didn't they sell it when they did the Sleeping Dogs thing? Wasn't that partially sold?
That's basically what the idea was. The Sleeping Dogs was kind of like this spiritual successor to it. But yeah, Streets of LA was I like that one. That was a fun game back in the
Streets of LA. You packing heat or holding dope, man? Like when you pat down people.
Yeah,
I like that game a ton.
Do you remember you could max out your good cop by just arresting everybody on the street? You could just walk down the street, just arrest everybody, and 1 in 5 people would be a criminal, and everybody else it was just fine. So you could just get good cop bonus all day.
That's how the real cops work too. So that's
build a checkpoint, get a promotion.
We have another Discord question, Evan. You can hit us with.
I mean, this is kind of trolly. This guy thinks the Switch will be the best-selling console of 2021 more than the Series X and PS5. Do you agree?
Number of consoles, I would say yeah, just because it's going to be cheaper. Maybe. But overall revenue generated, if these systems come out at 500, it'll be hard for a $300 Switch or a $200 Switch Lite to like make more revenue gross.
It's not going to gross more.
Yeah, I would say probably not. But like number of consoles, probably yeah.
And they would probably make more.
What's that?
They would make more.
For profit margin, but they don't like the MPD goes, okay, this is how much money rang through the registers or whatever for these. And we've run into that before where like we got to the end of a month and it was like, oh, the Switch sold more units, but the PS4 and the Xbox or the PS4 grossed more in terms of revenue because it's just a more expensive system.
Right. And that hasn't happened for a while because the Switch has been doing so well. But yes. Like throughout the last couple of years, that happened a lot of times, actually. Yeah.
So, but I think overall the Switch will just sell more units. Like, because people will go in there and buy 3 Switch Lights or something.
And it's still in its prime. Yeah, it's still in its prime. And they're probably gonna have by next holiday a revision to get people like us in there to buy and get another one. So yeah, totally.
And honestly, they should be back on track with a lot of their first party stuff next year. And I think because of what happened really this year for them, I think next year is going to be like what this year should have been kind of for them. Like it's gonna be like their prime year.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure about that.
Prime. What do you know about Metroid?
Not like Metroid Prime, but like their year where
What are you saying, huh?
Like their year where some of their bigger titles come out after their dev cycles kind of reset. What do you think? You don't think Prime, Nate? You don't think it's Prime year?
A lot of the problem is a lot of dev cycles have been reset. The closer you were to release, the more limited the impacts of COVID-19 were. The further away you were from release, the bigger the impacts are. So basically, if a game was coming out, let's say spring 2021, now it might be summer. So your planned holiday game for next year is probably pushed into 2022 now. So
look, just tell me Bayonetta 3 is coming out next year.
Who knows when Bayonetta 3 is coming out?
It's coming out tomorrow, dude. I'm telling you.
I thought, didn't OJ say it's coming out this year?
Yeah, it's coming out.
He said it's been coming out this year for 2 years. So
wait. Does that mean wait a minute. We have Breath of the Wild 2 in November, and then we have Bayonetta 3 in October. That's how it's working.
You got a busy year, man.
I never said that.
No, I'm not talking about you.
Oh,
there was a lot of suggestions that Breath of the Wild 2 would come out this year, and we were like, I don't know about that one.
I've heard rumors in the last few weeks that there's a Metroid Prime 4 demo coming out this month. I mean, who the hell knows?
We're already halfway through the month. That's coming out soon, then.
And people, before I see this on like a friggin' Nintendo Soup article, it's called sarcasm.
Oh, I got excited there.
There's no Metroid Prime 4 demo coming out this month. You can look
Nate.
it up on YouTube. Someone thinks there is.
what? There's a demo?
Yes, Fringe.
I'm so excited. I knew it.
Let's move over to Xbox Series S. They did name it technically. They weren't supposed to, but it technically got named. It was on the side of a controller box that, for some reason, was in the Best Buy like 2 months early, 3 months early.
Did you get one?
No, I didn't get one because I'm trying to figure out where they're because they obviously walked out of a Best Buy somehow or fell off a truck somewhere. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know if I really want to touch any of those, even though I have had offers for them. I don't want to touch any. So
I'd take one. Sell to a
little concerned because they I mean, each one has individual numbers and all that stuff. I'm like, it's a controller from the outside. I'll wait for it to come out. But apparently the street date on it was like first week of November. So those have been sitting in Best Buy. They were going to sit there for like 3 months. Yeah, that's a long time.
That's so weird to me because you worked video game retail. Like when I worked at GameStop, like a week, maybe 2 weeks early.
I think Halo 3 we got a week and a half early, and we had to put a black tarp over it in the back. Like we're not like don't even look at the boxes. Put a black tarp over it. That was the comment.
You couldn't even open some of those boxes. Like they would send you a letter with the box and be like, "Don't open this." Okay.
When when I was in the book business there for 10 years, we got when one of the Harry Potter books was coming out, they sent a giant crate and there were all these legal disclaimers on the outside that said if we open the crate early, we would be sued by J.K. Rowling. So we literally couldn't even touch it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's normal to get stuff early. I don't know any time I've ever heard that someplace getting it that early. So that is interesting, unless Microsoft was going to just like announce it and drop it, but they had the street date on the outside of it for like November 6th, I believe. And that's kind of when people are thinking that the Series X is coming out because the controller is for the Series X and the Series S technically. So first week of November, I mean, that's believable. Microsoft said November now. But the Series S, I mean, I guess they're going to reveal that soonish at this point. It obviously the plans are in flux badly right now.
Yeah.
They were supposed to we were supposed to already know about the Series S to my knowledge.
We were supposed to know about it in June. Like, yeah, they were going to do it in June, and then they moved it to this month, and now they've moved it to September is basically how it's gone down. But the problem is, again, this comes back to the price. They don't want to talk about the price, and they cannot talk about Series S without explaining the entire value.
Yep.
Yeah, they can't. They just will not do it. So they're going to have to keep holding off the Series S until they're ready to talk about price. And now with Halo delayed, when they made that decision, they're like, we really actually do want to try to undercut Sony. We really, really do want to make that happen. So if they can, they will. And the only way to do that, it means holding off on Series S. So, but yeah, I mean, that thing's real. Everyone knows it now.
I think that Series S, I'm looking at these prices like the X is 500 and the S is 300. That's my thought right now. It's still 500 on the X and the PS5. I think the PS5 and the X are just going to be the same price.
Which would be?
I think so. I think at the end of the day, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think they will settle on 500 each.
That'd be big though. I mean, like if you can get like a next gen system, at like for like the Madden and Call of Duty, Game Pass, whatever the case is, for $300, that'll probably be the go-to for lots of people that just play. Like, I mean, because there are, believe it or not, we're all the core gamers that we all play all the exclusives and stuff like that. But there is a large base of people that all they play is Madden, Call of Duty, FIFA, and like Rockstar whenever they make a game. So just GTA and whenever the next Red Dead comes out or whatever. That's all they play. They just play those games. And like if you can have a $300 box, for that'll be huge.
I bet you some of those like I bet you Madden will play like 1440p on the Series S, just as an example, something like that. And first, a lot of people they're like,
don't even care. I honestly think that people that play Madden do not. 1080p is fine. I don't think they even know the difference. Like, there's some people that play Madden. They don't even know the difference between like each game. If you just show them they don't even know the difference between what's going on with.
Do you think they'd be fine if it was just like a text-based adventure or something?
You
do you think they'd be fine if it was just like a text-based adventure? You threw ball, touchdown.
Do you know what Madden though? As long as is it Madden?
Yeah, it'll say Madden at the top every time it starts up.
You know what they would notice though, OJ, is if those load times drop to like 1 second or something like that. I mean, that's probably their texting time or something on the phone, right? And all of a sudden they're like, oh.
Just say it. You think Madden fans are the dumbest people on the face of the planet. Just say it, man.
Look, I used to be, and between the blaring rap music in between games and between, hey, man, what's going on? Like between all that stuff that they used to say on there with Madden, I used to play. Hey, man, I'm just saying.
It's I think if you really think about how much time we spend in loading screens over like a year, is a lot. So the idea of loading screens almost going away is interesting.
They like loading. Gives them time to take care of the kids. Gives them time to.
Jesus.
Say hi to the wife, kiss the wife, kiss the girlfriend. They like the loading times. What are you talking about, man?
Fix the controller up they just chucked across the room. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Change the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them time to do stuff that they need to do. I think it's a good thing.
The Series S. I am interested in the Series S. I was gonna see what it looks like too. The word is it's small. It's not a cube, but it's like a small rectangle. So, well, we'll see. Maybe it'll be like so small that it's like honestly, maybe it's like size close to like an NVIDIA Shield.
That's
like a Roku.
Thinking. Yeah, I think it's going to be NVIDIA Shield size, probably a little bigger than that, but that type of form factor.
Yeah, that would be cool if it was like really.
Yeah, they're still gonna have to cool the SSD, and they're gonna have to cool the the GPU still. I mean, it's still gonna be like a regular AMD GPU, but yeah, in that range for sure. A puck.
That'd be good. I almost wonder if they'd also get to a point where they don't include a controller with it, like in holiday time, and it's like
I think that's likely.
Cheap. Yeah,
no controller too.
I mean, you probably, but geez, that sounds weird to me.
I mean, we also, I mean, if you think about it, Nintendo took out the charge cable for the 3DS, new 3DS XL back in the day to try to cut costs on that even. So, and that's a literal thing you need for the device to operate and turn on because you got to charge it. But they figure everyone has these chargers who've been using them for so long. I mean, how many people keep buying Xbox controllers? So,
yeah, I mean, the gamepads are selling better than ever. Like people are buying a ton of them. So it almost makes sense to a certain degree. Like even if you don't have one, getting one on the secondhand market even cheaper. Like if that cuts down the price even more, that could be worth it.
They got to come out with an xCloud box too. Just one that they sell that's like a little TV top box for $100 and you just drop it in your bedroom or something.
That'll be like their next thing after they get these consoles out. They will start really thinking about how they're going to introduce that. But you're right. Yeah. So right now it only works on phone, right? The xCloud's still only on phone.
I've been playing it because they dropped the beta this past week. I've been playing it before then because they had like the closed alpha, and I signed up a while ago, and they brought me in for it, and it worked well then. It still works fine now. Like you play it on your phone. There is a noticeable delay, like in I play Forza, for example, you tend to oversteer. Like you try to overcorrect at times when you're driving. I've noticed that. So it takes some getting used to. It also depends on how far you are from your Wi-Fi, how good your setup is, all of this. I don't really try it a lot on LTE because, T-Mobile will come in and start asking for more money and start breaking legs and stuff. So I don't mess around with that. But yeah, I mean, xCloud works well enough for what it is as like a complimentary service to your system. It's not Stadia where it's like, this is your system. So it works well enough, I think, for that. Evan, you want to answer the Discord question over there?
Are you planning on doing the SpawnCast Game of the Year awards this year?
Oh, yeah, we are going to do that because there's not as many games this year to do it for. Yeah, we will do it this year, actually. I've been thinking about it a bit more, and I think it's going to go over really well. So we'll talk about that as we get a little closer.
We're going to have a Keeley Award.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird because Cyberpunk is so late, and I want to include Cyberpunk in it. It doesn't get delayed again.
Will OJ do Black Keeley for the show?
Hey, there we go.
Yes, you host it.
If you guys want me to, I'm down.
I want to see this. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds cool.
We're doing our own game awards.
I think he's talking more about Black Keeley.
I understand that.
All right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have.
There you go.
Maybe Black Keeley can do like the opening skit part for like a minute thing, and then we go.
I'm already thinking of a script. Let's go.
Yeah, write up the speech, man. I'll full screen you. It'll be great.
Yeah, but I like that idea though, where we fill out a bracket and the audience votes and stuff, and then we end up at the end with it. So it's all audience or viewer based. But we have a bunch of YouTubers that do the nominations. So to get it started, that'd be cool. Yeah, we're gonna talk about a bit more about that as we get closer because I've been trying to get like 60, 70 people in YouTube from nominating. So. But yeah, we talked about it last year. It kind of rushed up pretty quick, but this year we'll be ready. So we had another Discord question, Evan, before we go over to Apple and Epic.
We do. I think it was asked before the fallout from this. It's a Dusk Golem question.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
It's basically stating that because he said that 4K games and all that were having problems running, he was just wondering if we can shed light on how he was claiming that they were having problems and the Xbox was going to be able to do it better.
I was confused about that situation anyway because it almost felt like Dusk heard from someone in Capcom and kind of put it over the top, and then I guess they later said that they were concerned because the Xbox had more negative news, so they were like the PS5 should have negative news too or something. I don't know. Microsoft has a lot of money. I don't think.
Can I ask a question about this though? Like did anybody think like the PS5 was going to be able to run like every single game native 4K? I didn't think that in the first place.
I don't think either. So, I think both systems are going to have a hard time with 4K 60 straight up across the board, because even Assassin's Creed is like, yeah, it's 30. And everyone was like, well, how can that be? I mean, we know what these third parties are going to do. They're going to say, look at all this extra space we have, or headroom we have. Let's push the visuals.
Sony never advertised.
It'll look good in a commercial. That's what matters. Yeah.
Sony never said, this is a super 4K system that's 4K for everything. They never said that, did they? I don't recall them advertising it.
Neither of them really have. Yeah.
I feel like they said it a tiny bit. Yeah,
they said it does 4K.
Yeah, you're right. But I feel like they definitely said like 4K, like this is a 4K gameplay technically because they upscale it or whatever. But
I just thought Microsoft went harder on the 4K. But I feel what you're saying, Jim Casca. You know, I mean, like I never took it that way, so I didn't really see like the news on this.
Yeah,
Nate, what do you think about the Dust Golem situation there? Because that got a little out there for some of the stuff that was being said, I guess, for like. What was it, Resident Evil 8, and then I think they were questioned by a developer, and it went off the rails there.
The problem is that the information, even if it were correct, it's not completed information. It can be from an outdated dev kit that hasn't had an updated development profile. We don't know the state of the game. We don't know what the information was actually originating from. It was foolish information to make public because we don't have the context of the information. So it was just kind of like, oh, I've heard a negative thing about the PlayStation 5 with Resident Evil 8. I'm going to make it public. But then when he was actually questioned on it further, he had no answer because as he put in Twitter, this is above my knowledge. I don't know all the technical stuff. So it's probably don't report or leak the technical stuff if you don't have the information to support it. And it was silly information put out there. And the developers who did push him asked him legitimate questions. Yeah. And, it's something that he can learn from the future of if someone's saying right now the game isn't performing. Well, that's the nature of development. The game by default isn't 4K 60 frames a second. You have to work to get to certain target goals for game performance.
Yeah, you optimize it. Yeah.
PlayStation 5 cannot do it. It's just at that point in time, it wasn't up to that yet. It doesn't mean it won't launch in that. So it was foolish information overall to actually make public.
And as Jeff mentioned, the PS5 goes about like how its GPU, CPU work with power differently than the Series X. So, I mean, developers have to account for that too. So they might be like, oh, let's bring this build over to the PS5. Oh, wait, it's not running how it's supposed to. And then they might have made offhand comment like, oh, this PS5 is just not, we got to work with it some so it works correctly. Things like that.
The tricks they know that aren't working, like that doesn't mean it's going to be an issue at launch. It could be, but even if it is, I don't think it's going to last very long. This is not going to be an issue that people are dealing with years from now. It's going to get figured out relatively quickly, if it is a problem at all.
We all have a chance to talk to developers, and something we hear sometimes is like sometimes games are just super low frame rate or whatever up until that like day one patch where they're like, no, we're trying to make sure everything is, they always say feature complete. We're trying to make sure like your level up systems work and your save files don't delete themselves. Like we're trying to make sure everything works. So sometimes you'll have like sub 30 frames a second until literally launch. So it's like someone saying we're having launch, we're having like frame issues now does not matter.
Max is right. I mean, not every shop will do that. Like you got like Turn 10, right? That they spend millions of dollars in research and development, making sure that their stuff is going to run at 60 from day one. But most of the time during development, everything is running at a poor level of performance. And then optimization is usually done at the end of the project or close to the end of the project to get it to an acceptable level. And Max is right. I mean, there's usually a day one patch that may come out that addresses those things. So, I mean, I agree with what Nate said. You can't really just take that information in a vacuum and make any sense of it because we don't know, when that was, when that information was taken and ultimately what level of performance the game is going to run at when it launches. I mean, it's not something that I really, and most developers don't really put too much stock into when they, when you hear things like that. So
we hear developers say that, oh, the PS5 is really good. It works really well with everything. Then we hear some that are like, I like the Series X more. I guess it's just developer, just taste or just how they,
it depends on the company as well.
Experience.
Yeah, experience.
Because experience and I don't want to. I mean, we're going to talk about Epic in a minute here.
Yes,
but
we are.
Epic is also part of a marketing deal with Sony. So they're going to say PlayStation 5 is fantastic as often as they want because Sony's paid them to. Notice how Epic hasn't really talked about the Xbox Series X. It's not that they think the hardware is terrible. It's that they have been given a check to praise Sony. And some of these companies, you also typically see first-party developers are the ones coming out saying, oh, this hardware is awesome. Third-party developers very rarely are the ones on Twitter praising a hardware piece. So that also has to be taken into account because it's a lot of vocal first-party Sony developers who are like, PS5 is awesome. It's so much better than the PS4. Well, yeah, you work for Sony. Of course you're going to be praising the hardware you're working on for your next game. If you didn't, there'd be a lot of concern if the guy from Naughty Dog went on there and said, PS5 sucks. Right. Also probably get fired.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be an interesting situation to see happen. Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the spec sheet, the Series X should do resolution and frame rate better, but I'm still curious about that SSD working into it with their geometry engine.
For me, this is like the teraflop argument again.
Yeah.
It's just a meaningless statistic that has no bearing on the game when it actually launches.
Yep. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll have some stuff, Assassin's Creed and some other things from third parties come out and I'm sure most people won't notice any drops in resolution or frame rate until it gets pointed out by Digital Foundry. So there we go.
Yeah, I think that's the exact right thing. Yeah.
We'll get the checkerboarding they're working on. Apparently advanced upscaling techniques as well, Sony is. So we'll get to the point where native and I guess the quote unquote what manufactured or fake 4K is
fake 4K.
So difficult to tell. So yeah, it comes down to the games. We'll see what happens this holiday. So do we have any other Discord questions, Evan, or was that the last
that covers
one?
all of them.
Okay, great. Let's move over to Epic versus Apple, then I'll go over to some of the super chats before we finish up a bit. So this was strange because Sean, did you have to go soon?
Yeah, I probably do. And honestly, I don't give a shit about Apple and Epic and Fortnite. They can all fuck off. But thank you for having me on as usual. And actually, my uncle's having a party next week, so I might not be around. Depends how drunk I get. It does start late afternoon, like around 4 or 5. So there is a chance I could be home for it. I will let you know.
There might actually be some good stuff to talk
home
about next
and
podcast.
drunk to talk about things. Nice.
Yeah. That would be that could that could be interesting. But as always,
is your uncle having raisins there? Just be careful. Just be careful on the raisins at the party. Right, man?
Raisins, just good cheap. Well, he's got expensive beer, but I always make him buy cheap beer for me. Land Shark. He's always like, "Hey, why don't you have a Land Shark?" I'm like, "No, give me a Bud Light, thank you." Like, I don't want this fancy crap. Anyways, Huh? Yeah, Bud Light, Coors Light, like really,
he's just staying on brand. He drinks champagne. He just doesn't want to tell the people.
I got some bottles of the bubbly still.
Yeah.
Bubbly. All right, I'm out. Enjoy your rest of the evening. Everyone, stay safe. Go watch my videos that I uploaded, and I will potentially see you guys next week.
All right, sounds good. See you, Sean. I'm actually gonna go over to Streamlabs first, real quick. Ian says, "Pokemon question. This actually might be good for. This might be for Jordan." Jordan's not here. Good. Pokemon question. What do you call a youngster trainer using the final evolution of Rookidee? I don't know.
I know some of the words you use, but I have no idea what you're
That's why I said this might be good.
I bet it's a great joke that none of us get. It's wasted on us.
I get it.
Jordan would know, and he's just not here. Well, maybe you know what? Maybe we'll circle back around and ask Jordan. Wishbone says if Tony Hawk can get a remake like that, and Codemasters applied that to Beetle Adventure Racing. See?
Yes. Let's make it happen.
Keep the pressure on, okay?
Yep.
For Beetle Adventure Racing.
Forget Scott Pilgrim. We want Beetle Adventure.
Whoa,
yeah.
Scott Pilgrim coming back.
No, he's right.
Whoa, was that the other secret project you're working on, MVG? Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
No.
I don't know. MVG changed to work out. No.
What? Scott, what?
What?
Huh?
Mr. Pete says, any idea why the SpawnCast DOVs? Oh, I guess the videos afterwards, maybe Evan seemed to cut off at 2 hours.
That's because I edit about 30 minutes out of it without destroying the original file, and then YouTube takes 2 days to compress. It's on Twitch untouched at 1080p, and then the SpawnCast clips, I think schedule-wise, we're going to be doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then of course the audio is on SoundCloud.
Evan's on top of it, by the way, for that. So if you have any clips that you liked out of the most recent one, or you go back and you're listening, someone said they were listening through all the episodes from the beginning and stuff. If there's anything you find, just message Evan on Twitter, just at him at Kimmer's Project, and be like, "Yo, Evan, I found this one in this episode. If you want to post it up." So
there's a specific. By the way, if anybody's rewatching the old episodes, there's a specific episode about 3 months ago where someone broke into my house, and I didn't say anything to the stream, but you'll see me, and I look off to the left because a drunk guy kicked in my door because he thought it was his apartment, and he walked in. So I muted my mic and I kicked him out, and I managed to shut the door. If you happen to find that episode, I want that clip, because you just see me go, what? If you find that clip, I want it.
Wow. Okay.
Some of the craziest stuff happens to you, man.
He was actually a really nice guy, and it was when I was in his best man. I was going to
kick your damn door in.
Well, he was really drunk, and let's face it, the guy was like 4 times my body size. This is this huge dude. I didn't want to be like, "Excuse me, sir, do you see my tiny hands? I will push you out of here."
Then we have Just Alf says, "How are you doing, MVG?"
I'm well, thank you for asking.
Xay says, "I can now confidently say that OJ and MVG are the sexiest members of the SpawnCast by far."
Not wrong.
Xay.
Let him know, OJ.
I'm almost positive that he's right. I'm pretty sure that we're definitely up there. Everybody here is sexy. Let's just be real here. Everybody here is absolutely sexy, but MVG definitely took some couple steps up with that beard, man. You're definitely stepping things up, man. So
Mac Mega says, "Any chance they add additional content on the Mario re-releases for the Switch later this year? Imagine Luigi finally being playable on the OG Mario 64." Wishful.
No, it's Nintendo. They're not going to play Luigi. Come on.
Oh man. Zippo says, "Hey guys, hope all is well. Taking a break from reading Dune to watch the podcast, and I figured I'd drop something by. Looking forward to these next few weeks." Okay, that's Streamlabs here. Okay, let's go over to is Jordan still not back? Okay. Let's go over to Epic versus Apple, and technically Google as well, though the big fuss was Epic and Apple. This was did Epic just wake up one day? They obviously planned all of this out because they dropped everything all in one day. And so basically right away they said, "Oh, we're going to bypass Apple's own payment processing with our own. We're going to make it cheaper so people wouldn't want to use Apple's anyway. You pay us directly, and we bypass the Apple iOS stores fee of 30%." And immediately, as soon as that happened, it seemed maybe an hour later, they pulled Fortnite off, and then lawsuits were filed, and they posted this really weird parody thing for 1984 that Apple had pushed way back when as their marketing strategy.
Ridley Scott's commercial, right? Was that I remember that from back in the day.
Yeah, it was the Super Bowl 1984 when it aired, and people were like, "What?" And then Apple got in trouble because they hired actual skinheads to play the bald people in the video.
So that's where we are now. And it was also pulled from Google Play Store as well, because they did the same thing to Google. I don't know if they've done that to the console manufacturers yet, though. I
don't think so. But I don't think they have done.
If they do it, they're going to get pulled from there too.
Oh yeah.
So this is a weird situation, because it seems like Epic has dug their heels in now, and there was some of the papers that were filed were kind of interesting, because there is one mention that they tried to make a deal with OnePlus. Did you guys see this? They tried to make a deal with OnePlus so that the Epic launcher would be installed already on the OnePlus, and that runs Android. And according to the papers, Google blocked it.
Yeah, Google blocks any sort of a third-party store unless you you have to make a deal with them. You have to include the Google apps, and the Google apps, if you have the Google apps, you can't have a third-party store or whatever. I think Samsung gets a special deal there. So yeah, all these companies are monopolies. There's no doubt there. And they're taking advantage of their monopolies. So Epic has a point. It's just, man, the way they go about stuff is so embarrassing and insulting. I think they're gonna get gamers to rise up, and it's just homie, we're dealing with COVID and job losses. We don't want to help you fight this thing. We just don't care that much.
You think they talked to Tencent a little before making this decision, or?
No, I don't see that's like my thing with this whole
Tim Sweeney. Tim Sweeney doesn't care what Tencent says. Tim Sweeney's just going to do what he wants.
Yeah, like I don't give a damn about Apple. I don't give a damn about Epic. They're billion and trillion dollar companies. They don't give a shit about the consumer. This whole thing is about profits. The conversation that Epic is basically forcing on the industry right now, using Apple and Google as their guinea pigs, is that you're a platform holder and you're charging us 30% to allow us to sell our game. And that's a conversation that's worth having for developers. 30% is a very high price. And it's an industry standard across even for Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. And that should come down. I think that is a good conversation for the companies to actually have to sit down and say 30% is, ridiculous. It should come to a lower percentage. But I'm not necessarily saying that Epic's way of doing it was the correct way, but they're forcing the conversation to take place. I'm gonna ignore like the morality of it. It just should come down because it keeps smaller developers out. Like, let's just look at it from like a market perspective. We can look at PC and see how it played out when Epic tried to go on an open platform and do their own store and charge less, and everyone's still using Steam. And everyone still goes through Steam, and Steam is entrenched. And it turns out that's probably because 30% is actually the market value of what they provide. It might even be more. If you look at the way people used to have to sell games before Steam, or even like before like stores really got entrenched on any of these platforms, doing your own customer service, doing your own payment processing, dealing with people who had complaints and want to do returns, all those things are really time intensive and really expensive. If you talk to an old time developer that lived in that world and sold games that way, they usually say, wow, 30% to do all that stuff for us, that's worth it. And they know it's worth it, so they're going to keep charging 30%. And when we look and see, like, Steam has not budged on that, even though they have this supposed pressure from Epic now, and Epic's spending tons and tons of money to try to force them to compete. So yeah, like if you're just talking about from like the market value, I think it might be worth 30%. Now that doesn't mean that it shouldn't come down. I think there are still arguments for why it could, and maybe it shouldn't be applied across the board to every single developer in the same way. I think that's where you're going to get a lot of people saying, "Come on, just give smaller developers a break." But also like that's like, okay, so we get more video games, and no one's really feeling like we need more video games, right? Like, there's kind of a lot of video games already, so it's like again, that's a hard argument to make. I feel like surprised. So I mean, it can help. It would help the smaller developer, like the indie developer, of we're charging $15 for our game, and by default we'll use Apple and Google because they're the only companies in the situation right now. They're by default taking $5. I mean, that's a fairly substantial amount of money when I'm charging $15 for a game. Now it's down to $10, and yes, we're going to make money on it. But if you lower that to let's say 15%. It helps those developers. It can help them grow. It's going to help their passion where they can make more of these products. They have a better livelihood. Like, yeah, it doesn't help the consumer at the end of the day, but it does help all the people who are employed by this industry, where you have these, mega corporations who are saying, well, we're taking this 30%, and all we're really doing is, we're playing host. And Apple still has full control. They're blocking Microsoft for putting
xCloud,
on their service. And if they put it on there, they're going to want 30% of, if you buy a game. I think like the conversation will eventually shift with Epic and these companies of saying, we want a lower percentage. We want you guys to come down. And it is a conversation that is worth having for the industry. Now, it could only come down to 25%, but it is something the industry has to address. Epic just went with a very extreme take on it. And again, I don't give a damn about Apple or Epic. They have more than enough money, and they're just looking to secure more money for themselves. It's not like they're helping us in any way. We're just going to trickle down, and we're going to, get discounts on these games. It's all about
for a while, but it wouldn't last.
Getting discount on V-Bucks. Don't you have V-Buck payments? V-Bucks.
So I mean, that's really the thing. Like, they're worried about their bottom line. They're going to fight the war. They do it. We see videos of like YouTubers destroying their iPads because they're free Fortnite. Relax there, killer. Epic doesn't give a shit about you.
So wait, hold on. What happens then? Like who budges here?
They're going to go to court, and they'll probably end up settling not to make a giant spectacle out of it.
Good for everybody. And like it'll be very interesting. They don't want to go to court because no one wants to go through discovery. Epic doesn't want to go into discovery. Epic doesn't want to actually deal with like their their emails being involved in the stuff. So yeah, yeah, they'll settle and it'll be very interesting. When they settle, it will probably benefit Epic. It'll probably still benefit Apple, and then everyone else is still going to get left out in the cold, I think. But we'll see.
Let's see. We have some super chats left here. I went through the Streamlabs. Oh, Jordan, there was a Streamlab that you would probably understand.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I have my doubts.
Should we try this again? Okay.
Yeah.
This is from Ian saying, Pokemon question, what do you call a youngster trainer using the final evolution of Rookidee?
What do you call the trainer himself?
That's what it says here.
I mean, the final evolution of Rookidee is Corviknight, and I don't know.
Oh, wait, that's not it. Hold on.
I don't know in relation.
Pokemon question, what do you call the trainer?
I mean, he's still a
youngster trainer, right? Using the final evolution of Rookidee.
Maximum COVID.
He's still a youngster trainer, just using a Corviknight. I don't understand is it a punchline, or is someone just trying to figure out the name of this?
It's got to be a punchline that for some reason he thought we all knew.
Well, can the person reply with the punchline already? Because
at Pickle in chat, the punchline.
Yeah.
At me the punchline.
The joke. I can tell it's a good joke. I can tell the ingredients are there. We just don't get it.
Yeah,
we're all very stupid. Yeah,
like I'm following along. Like I don't know why he didn't just say Corviknight. Like unless that's part of the joke. I don't know why he said Rookidee's final evolution, but
Corvikid.
Let's go through here. Jake says best YouTube video of the week was Dreamcast guys humble pie, 2 exclamation points.
Great. Everyone in chat's just at pickling and typing the word punchline. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
we did it.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Thank you for that super chat. Thank you.
Rodrigo says Game Pass is cheap, same price as Netflix, and a market like Brazil where games are very expensive, it'll make a lot of people to prefer Xbox over PlayStation.
I've been hearing a lot of issues. People tell me like Brazil is just crazy to buy games, man.
Yeah, they have a lot of what are those things that we put into effect? Not embargoes, but tariffs.
Oh my god,
their tariffs are wild. Yeah. So the systems are like 300% more expensive and stuff like that, and the games are very expensive.
That's a very messed up joke. That like someone put the answer.
My older brother lived in he still lives in Mexico. My older brother's lived in Mexico now for 12 years, and he spends a lot of time in Brazil, and he did the math. It would be cheaper to fly to America, buy a PlayStation 4, and fly back with it in your lap than it would be to actually buy a PlayStation 4 in Brazil.
Rice says, silly talk on launch. Miles got 14.5 million views. Yeah, Spider-Man's going to be good. I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5 to play it. So
rereading the Miles comics now. Everybody should. They're great.
Yep. Derek says, anyone else think Jeff looks a bit like Carl Urban?
I've gotten that one before. I like the one in chat earlier where it said I looked like what was it? Jason Momoa and Danny McBride. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. That is spot on. People say Jason Momoa way too much, and I'm like, you guys have not seen Jason Momoa. Like he's like a god. Mix in Danny McBride, and I can get on board with that. For
sure. The Fallen says, do you think we'll ever see a Xenogears Skies of Arcadia or Panzer Dragoon Saga remake or remaster? Out of those, Panzer Dragoon Saga would be cool to see some kind of remaster remake for, because that game is.
I do feel Skies has a potential at some point. Xenosaga, I just don't feel anybody cares anymore. I know Nintendo doesn't care about Xenosaga because they have Xenoblade. And I know Bandai Namco obviously does not care about Xenosaga anymore. So I think Xenosaga is getting yeeted to the void. But Skies, I think there's a possibility that Skies someday.
Mr. Kane says, I bought Zelda Breath of the Wild on Wii U and waited to buy a Switch. Do you think Switch is a success without Breath of the Wild? 1-2 Switch wasn't exactly a console seller. I think the idea of the Switch itself, because it's so drastically different from like the Wii U, where you weren't tethered to your TV, is probably the biggest part about the system. Obviously, the hybrid concept.
Yeah.
So Breath of the Wild on the Switch versus Breath of the Wild on the Wii U was way different just because of that. So I would say just the concept of the Switch is enough to sell the Switch.
Yeah, I don't know. And also, do they move up Mario Kart then, right? So if they have Mario Kart earlier, because that came out in April, obviously that game was probably already done. So
Yeah.
oh yeah, Mario Kart, and then Splatoon is there. Like all the other games are still there that would help push it.
Yeah,
so
they're working.
success.
They're working on all this stuff when the Wii U was out, and they're like, let's just move to the next system now. We're like 2 years out. Don't worry.
They were done in 2015. They were done.
Yeah.
I knew I was like, they're done. They're moving. The next system's coming within the next couple of years. Like they were done because 2015 was that E3. You guys remember that E3 in 2015? Ooh.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Is that the Wii Music
E3.
one? It's all blended.
No. That was way before. That was like the Mario anniversary where they're like playing instruments and stuff at the end, and they didn't really have much of anything really.
It's kids move.
Alejandro says, I want to play horse mode on Tony Hawk with you. I think I can beat you. Horse mode was pretty fun. That was more about points rather than just tricks. That's why I liked Skate when we would kind of play that, and you'd be like, do the same trick.
Fake horse mode.
I want to do horse. Well, I want to do a stream, and maybe we can get in on the Spawn, me and you could do it because I know me and you are big Tony Hawk dudes. Maybe get Jeff in here since he's Mr. Million Points. But I want to do a stream where we challenge viewers. I think it'd be cool to like we do round robin and it's beat the YouTuber. So we stream it and like fans come into chat and actually try and beat us at horse.
Do you know what multiplayer mode I really liked in Tony Hawk was the tagging mode where you would go around and you would do a ramp and like it would change to your color and the person had to show up. Like it was blue, so it show up.
That was a good mode. I forgot about that. I love that. That was great.
And you had to beat the points on it. So eventually people will be doing like 6 million point things and then take over the whole map at once.
Dude, massive map battle royale Tony Hawk. Just that. Just like 8-person Tony Hawk. Do that with like tag mode. Barry says 3:00 turn on for 5 minutes, get sucked in and no sleep for me. Jack says, did RGT order a 30-inch sub to share with his Tinder date?
No, she brought it over.
He hasn't talked about ordering a sub in a while, so he got really excited about it was a larger sub. No, it wasn't like a 60-inch sub.
It was the 60-inch.
The 60 took him out.
He said it didn't happen though. Like they took.
Well, yeah, he said that they wouldn't deliver it or something.
Yeah, because they say that they keep it all in one sub. So like, do they just strap it to the roof of the car? Like what the fuck?
What if he just orders 2 30s?
I would laugh if they were like, sir, legally we can't sell it. They're like, legally we can't sell this to one person. I'm sorry, you have to be an office or an organization.
No, we need it to all be one long sub. We can't have 2 30s because we need them to like. I see them like rolling down like their back windows and like just kind of pushing it through that and driving up.
3 people carried it.
He can drive it home in the rain, just holding onto it outside the driver's side door.
Fictional says, how long will Rockstar milk GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2?
Another generation.
Yes.
GTA 5 has another good couple years in it, right?
Yes. Another
6 ain't ready anytime soon, so yes.
Oh man,
a lot more GTA 5.
Red Dead's probably going to be milked. Like it's going to go on for a while. I don't know if there even is going to be a new Red Dead this generation. I don't know. Maybe
that Red Dead Online though is like on fire, right? And they've stopped updating it. Like they haven't updated it throughout the entire pandemic. So
no, they just did a new update.
They just did a new update
for Red Dead.
It's called In the Wilderness or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I'm not paying attention to that game. So
no one is. It's okay.
GTA Online is way more popular. So
right, I think that's where they're putting the resources, in my opinion, based on like what I'm seeing. So yeah.
They're separating it now, so it's like
but
its own thing.
The only reason why I'm mentioning it though is because like if you look at the NPD, Red Dead's still right up there. You know, NPD like the game's still selling extremely well too. It's not GTA. But it's still doing extremely well, and I just remember how long that game took to come out, right? So I'm just thinking they're probably just gonna roll it online Red Dead and just make like a PS5 and Xbox Series X version where they completely upgrade the graphics, actually make the game playable and fun more, you know, and like they just do some other things to it. So.
Game says we need Obi-Wan plays on SpawnCast to debate PlayStation versus Nintendo with OJ.
We'll have that on my show.
You guys are gonna do that on the stream, right, OJ?
Yeah, we'll do that on the stream. I'm thinking about. I thought his account was a parody account, but apparently it's not. I thought he moved it over to being a parody account. I honestly thought it was, but apparently it's not. So I'm rethinking. Like, okay, let me just. He's being serious. So
that can make for a fun stream on your channel.
Yeah. Well, I'll have him on. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Zach says, imagine if Microsoft were to check to Nintendo to have some of their first or third-party Switch exclusives on Xbox to help out the Series X launch. I have no idea how much money that would cost. It would be a lot, like a ridiculous amount that probably isn't even fathomable.
That would be a weird thing.
Yeah,
that'd be really weird, actually.
they can have Star Fox Zero. There you go.
There you
Don't
go.
hate on that game. That game is not that bad.
That was a game?
That game is trash.
You all suck.
I got that.
You don't deserve Star Fox Zero.
I got Star Fox Zero a month before launch. Nintendo was like, "We're giving you the first review copy." I fell asleep the first day playing it. That's a true story.
What about Devil's Third? Can we get that moved over Series X?
Yes, please.
There we go.
What?
All right.
Devil's Fourth coming soon.
Devil's Fourth. Here we go.
Janet,
ready for it.
Did you know this guy called Block Content made a video on you saying you officially confirmed the realist date for the Mario rumors? I did not know that.
What the hell does that even mean?
You confirmed the date for the Mario rumors.
We don't have any. No, we don't have any dates for the Mario rumors.
What date did you confirm? Huh?
I don't know.
October? November?
We have to watch
December?
this random guy's video to learn.
Is it October 17th?
There we go.
You tell me if it's October 17th, wouldn't you, son of a bitch?
I would tell you that.
Okay, just want to make sure I had plans that day.
Stuff's coming out October 30th. So.
Oh shit.
Yep.
There we go. Confirmed.
Halo.
Halo. There you go. Mr. Pete says, "OJ, don't be tripping." There's an apostrophe at the end of that too.
Because that was my first name when I used to play Madden. Because he's being a douchebag. He's making fun of me, basically.
Zaire Miller says, "Work at a Walmart. My store haven't had a single Xbox One in stock for over 2 months, and I'm pretty sure won't be getting any more anytime soon." Yeah, they stopped sending out Xboxes. There was an issue with obviously manufacturing and stuff, but they got rid of the X. I think they just have the S now. Yeah. So they don't need all those Xbox with the new ones coming out. Wishbone says, "What about the Need for Speed leaks? EA Ninjas." Yeah, apparently like alpha footage of the new Need for Speed got out there. That
it did. I didn't know that.
There's full footage on YouTube. Someone actually got it, posted it up. It's so funny looking because it's like MBG would probably recognize it. It's like super early development. Like houses are like literal blocks.
Like what looked better, that or Halo?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't see Craig in this. So
it's like all flat shaded polygons. I mean,
yes.
it's. I wouldn't even say it's like 25% complete.
Yeah. So I'm Need for Speed. I guess next year. I don't know. So it didn't look.
It's a casual EA game then.
Yeah, it didn't look close. The Waltman says Microsoft's probably spending more time on trying to buy TikTok at the moment.
That'll launch with the Series X. That'll be great.
Yeah, there you go. G says, "Does Tony Hawk run at 60 frames per second on PS4? Epic Game Store is trash." Yes, it runs very smooth. From what I was on the PS4 Pro, I 60 frames seemed very good. So
we were playing on the smallest map, but it seemed like it was running really liquidy smooth.
It was very responsive. So I was pretty happy with it overall. Very fast. Then we have Lucius says, "Apple versus Fortnite is 2020 Microsoft versus Netscape." Carlos Rivera says, "I'm just worried about how much the PS5 controller would cost, like around 70 to 90 per controller. I think it'll be about the same price as the Switch Pro controller when that dropped. That was like, was that 70 or 75?
70, yes. I think.
I think the DualSense is going to be a little higher than 70.
You think it'd be like?
I think 70 is the basement, but I could think it could be 80.
I've got 80 in mind for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Shinru says, "Evening guys, can the next podcast be sponsored by Raycon? Then SpawnWave can take it apart. I pay to see that." Hey, Raycon's coming through, right, MVG?
yeah, good company.
Yeah. We'll see with Raycon. I still have I still use those. They're actually pretty good. I haven't been sponsored right now. They're actually all right. I use those for my laptop when I'm doing editing on that. Let's go over to the next gen pricing real quick before we finish up here. Next gen pricing it was Monster Energy drinks. They decided to tell us about how much the Series X cost apparently. And then we had I think it was on the Xcast, Alana Pierce said that there was a retail listing that she had sent for $600 in a retail store computer, I believe, for it at $599. So the Monster Energy stuff apparently is an amount of money, the value of the prizes, and then they divided how many would be given out, the packages, and it came out to $599.99 apparently. And that coupled with the retail listing, people are now thinking that we may see $600 systems this generation coming up. Would that be too much?
Yes.
I think too much, but it's like that I'm sure that's the price they want, though.
I think they're 500, and I actually don't think any retailers know the price.
The thing is, though, sure. I mean, if it's 6, they'll sell out immediately, right? I mean, anyone who wants one, they're going to get one. But what about next year when there's a whole bunch of stock that's available? Who's going to jump on 600?
I will tell you, right now retailers don't know the price. I can tell you now because I'm looking at one of the biggest wholesalers in the U.S. and their price is $9.99. So
yeah.
Monster Energy drink says that at the bottom. It says if the amount of prize doesn't get this high, we don't give you anything to equal that value.
Why you gotta be spoiling news, book?
They put a high price for their own ass.
Yeah, no, they're guessing at it. I think they're overshooting it a little bit because it's going to come with. Apparently, it also comes with Halo Infinite. So like people are looking at like, oh, it's $550 then.
Maybe Monster really knows the truth.
Yeah,
the isn't real.
Monster's probably really annoyed too right now. So if I was them, I'd be like, you know what? It's 500. Here's the press material that they gave us last month for it. Okay?
Didn't they leak the Call of Duty game as well? Monster or who?
That was
the Pepsi Corporation. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Monster had that deal with Microsoft to do a whole big marketing campaign this holiday for Halo. Apparently, they already had the cans made and everything. So. You know,
you want to game your best? Grab your favorite flavor of Monster, get triple XP this weekend.
Hey, we used to do that with Halo. They had the orange Mountain Dew, I think.
Yep. Live wire, and it had Master Chief wrapped around doing the double. Because remember, the double machine gun was such a big deal, so he was aiming it down like, "Drink it, bitch."
I feel like they did it with Code Red too.
Yeah, they did. I have a Halo 4 Code Red can still sealed.
They
never opened. Flat soda
Which is so funny because that's like the worst crap to drink if you actually want.
We had so much sugar back in the day.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing to drink if you actually want to do good, like and play group better. You should probably not be drinking that.
Nah, bro, it's a rush. You drink it and then you have to hurry up and play your match before you get the caffeine crash.
And I think if those systems are 600, there might be a problem, like Nate said at the beginning of next year.
$600 is not
drinking some Monster. Try to win.
It's not a feasible price for systems. Look, PlayStation 3 tried it, right? And I mean, I know it's different. There's inflation, all blah blah blah. But at the same time, man, like you can't have a system at $600. That's not like mom and dad aren't going to buy that for their kid. 600 pandemic, like that's not feasible for most people. Yep. That'd be a problem.
Yeah, because then you go to other parts of the world too, and it gets more expensive, right? Like Canada. How much is that? Would that be in Canada?
That should be like $750.
Yeah, Australia would be like $8.99. I think if you convert it, it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing because there's another competition going on in Australia by a drink company called Maximus, and they're doing a very similar thing. And people did the math, and it comes out to an Australian price of $999, and that roughly comes out to like $710 American dollars. And the Xbox Series S sure as hell ain't gonna cost $699. So, I mean, it just lends more credence that it is a placeholder.
That's what you think.
Yeah. I think a lot of retail listings right now in systems and everything are just placeholders. So, if they were not placeholders, they would be able to take pre-orders pretty soon. So,
John, do you still think it's $4.99?
I believe it's $4.99. I think it's 5 and 3. So 5 for the X, and I think the S will be 3. And then
what about the digital edition for PS5?
I think it's 4.
I want to say
it'd be a surprise if it's 4.
Yeah,
550.
I want to say it's 4, but 450 is such a weird price because they have to do those round, because if it's 4, really it's $399.99, right? In their mind, they're like, we can get a 3 in front of this thing. Yeah. But,
when you see a 450, you're like, oh, that's like $500.
Yeah,
it pushes it too high.
It's that weird bit of like,
Yeah, but I think that's the point. I think the digital edition is a decoy for the first little bit where they're trying to actually get people to pay up to $500, and you think, oh, it's only $50 more to get the real thing, so I'll just do that. And they'll sell digital editions eventually, but I think right now they're trying to sell the $500 because it's going to get them closer to actually making a profit on this stuff.
Sure. I see it a different way. I think it's going to be $399. Like, okay, the cost of a Blu-ray drive is not $100, right, for bill of materials. But what about a Blu-ray drive and a license to play Blu-rays on the player itself? Because you won't be getting that. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why you download the Blu-ray app. They only pay when you download the Blu-ray app. That's the only time the license comes into play. So most people don't actually end up ever downloading that app. So most people don't pay for that license.
we just talked about
it's also Sony, right? Because they already own it, so they're not.
Yeah,
that's right.
They're just paying themselves.
Yeah.
Well, we just talked about the 30% that they take. Wouldn't it be better for them even if they had to take a slight loss on the digital console to sell you that digital console at a cheaper price? Because then you'll be buying games on the shop no matter what. You're not going to a store and buying games.
Yes. The problem is they're going to take losses probably on both of these models. So you have to kind of come to one of these models and hope that you're breaking even, because there's a good chance are going to be costing them upwards of, $550, $600 to even manufacture. They're not going to
especially with packaging.
Yeah.
So,
I think the digital system is ultimately going to be the system that they continue with, and they'll at some point drop off the physical one. Right. I mean, I don't see the physical edition beyond the next generation after that. I think this is their way to push for the digital system going forward. So I think they're going to be more aggressive with the pricing on the digital system.
Okay.
I agree.
I'd like to see it.
We'll see. Well, I mean, if it's 400, I mean, it worked for them for the PS4. They probably know that, and they're like, 400 was a good price. Maybe we'll get there. But
and it's a good counter argument to the Lockhart as well. I mean, obviously the Lockhart is lower powered, but I mean, Sony's response to the Lockhart is, hey, you're getting the exact same experience on either one of these systems, but you can pay $100 less, to get the digital edition. So jump on board. We got the better hardware.
I do think that with these prices though, guys, and honestly, you guys know, during the holiday season, what was the big ticket items? It was that $250 PlayStation 4,
Yep.
That super cheap, those would just sell
Spider-Man edition,
and all that. That's what people are kind of looking for, and they're not going to get that with these systems. Once the holiday rolls around, you're not going to get it. In 2 years, is it going to be $200? Probably $250. I mean, probably not. So that's the only thing that I'm
3 or 4 years.
I bet Microsoft I bet Sony and Microsoft are both kind of dude, what the hell? They've got to at least be this pricing is getting a little bit out of hand, with what we're trying to do here. So I bet there's some concern there.
Let's go through some of the super chats before we finish up, and I'll double check Streamlabs as well. We have Mac saying, will we get a Fire Emblem remake before a new game? The original Fire Emblem?
Yeah, so he's saying will we get echoes? So let's say Shadows of Valentia before we get a new game. So similar to what they did beforehand. And yes, I think that it's very possible. Rumors, I don't know if they're true, are putting that Intelligent Systems had a couple games in development. So they finished Paper Mario and they have a couple more. So that could be an Echoes type of title. They take the engine, work with Koei Tecmo, and make let's say Path of Radiance and remake that as Fire Emblem Echoes.
Oh, that'd be
Path
cool.
of Radiance or something like that before a new Fire Emblem. Based off of how ambitious Fire Emblem Three Houses is, I would say the next one's probably a little bit off. So yeah, I think it's very possible for them to take one of the older games and say, here's a.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
cool. I'd honestly love that. I'd be more excited for that because I wasn't super into Three Houses. I'd like a simplified Fire Emblem again.
Okay. And then we have Ethan R saying, using the super chat to say congrats to Jordan.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We have a question from Kid Smooth saying, Jeff, does Xbox Series S launch the same day as Series X? And what's up with this new Game Pass rumor? Is it linked to EA?
I don't know for sure if the Series S is going to launch the same day as the Series X. I think it probably will. I mean, they are holding off on announcing everything to do with price because they need to announce the Series S. So yeah, I would bet that it will. But if it doesn't, it's going to be soon after. This is not we're announcing it now and it's coming next year sort of thing. This is coming soon. And then the other question about Game Pass, that sounds right to me.
The Game Pass rumor, is it linked to EA?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, gotcha. And then Wishbone says, you look like the guy who got tortured by a rat from Too Fast, Too Furious.
No, that just was me. That was me.
Oh, okay.
I know what
I'm in that movie.
About.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. And then Cam says,
okay, if you know what it's put it in the Discord. I want to see if you can find a picture.
Yeah,
of it.
I'll see if I can clip it.
Wishbone says, the new guy looks like the guy from Too Fast, Too Furious rat scene.
At least there's a consent. Chat agrees on something for once.
Yes, that's good. I'm glad I could bring people together.
All right. Easy enough.
All right, here we go. All right.
Oh my God, you do look like him.
Man.
He just has long hair.
That's Ava Mendes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Long hair to go
That guy, yeah. That guy's in a lot of movies. He's from.
It's the same thing ever since I look like every black guy with a beard. It's the same thing right now.
He's that Batman Begins guy, yeah.
Malcolm.
Why Too Fast, Too Furious and not Batman Begins? You guys are weirdos.
That's exactly like you. It's very funny to me.
Malcolm says,
All
"Have you
about
tried Death Stranding on PC with DLSS 2.0? Not sure why people care for native resolution. Want to look better at fake 4K. I hope Sony, Microsoft push for a newer upscaling option on consoles that can compare with DLSS 2.0 to push graphics." Have you tried that, Evan? Did you try that at all?
I haven't, because my 4K monitor is no longer my main monitor, just because I want the refresh rate, and apparently at 1440p it doesn't allow you to access that because it is mostly for 4K in that game.
Oh, okay. So if you switched over to the 4K monitor, you'd be able to try it then.
Most likely. But then I'd only be capping out at 60 frames a second anyway, which
I mean, the next Switch should use DLSS anyway, and I would assume the Sony doing kind of working right now, developing their own interpretation of it, upscaling.
I think that's going to be a big part of the Series S. I think the Series S is going to be like, I know you guys always say that we made a big deal about 4K. We are still making a deal about 4K. This is a 1080p machine, but that's not the whole story. The whole story is you're not going to be able to tell the difference. This thing's going to up-res to 4K really well because of our machine learning stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's their big play here.
Because then we could get to the point where we do have those high frame rates across the board for the most part. Like that 120 frames with the upscaling techniques could actually become like a legit thing across the board, which would be really cool.
That's exactly what I said about the Xbox Series S, why the people that play Madden all that will not care because they will see it.
They won't even know.
And they'll see the cheaper price and they say, well, it doesnn't look, and I want to pay cheaper because I want to, so they're not going to care.
That's exactly what I said as well.
It makes you wonder about those, that rumor about those sharp screens back in the day about the Switch, when we had that rumor going around where they were getting screens sharp and those screens were able to do higher refresh rates and DLSS and that. Makes you wonder about that going forward. Interesting. I think that's everything here, unless I missed one. Kevin says, what if they did like smartphones, a base 1440p model at $350 to $399 and a pro model at $600 with native 4K hardcore gamers would get the pro?
I agree. That's something Xbox, there was some internal Xbox talks a while ago about targeting the luxury gamer, about the idea of like, we can sell you a $60 controller, but we can also sell you a $100 controller and a $120 controller. I get what he's saying. I don't think they're going to do that for a whole console generation. I don't think that they would sell a luxury Xbox.
Rodrigo did say, I paid $200 USD on a used PlayStation 4 Fat last year here in Brazil. It was a great deal.
Hell yeah.
There you go. Very nice. I think that's everything there. You said we're good on...
Yep, Discord
questions is good. Okay, I think we're good here. Let me go over to our guest, Jeff. Thank you for joining us tonight. Where can the good people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Jeff Grubb. It's where I tweet too much, so find me there. If you have any questions, reach out to me there. I also got a couple podcasts, How Games Make Money, and GameSpeed Decides. Both of those are on. You can get those on YouTube, youtube.com/Jeffrey Grubb, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Okay, very cool. And then MVG, what about you, man?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm not tweeting as much as Jeff, but I usually tweet at least once a day at Modern Vintage G, and on YouTube, Modern Vintage Gamer. And I've got a video coming out on Monday where I hack up a Nintendo Wii U, and I'll be giving away that same Wii U on the channel as well. So check out my video on Monday. Thanks for having me on.
And then there were a few other ones came in. J2 Blue says, do you all think we could get an exclusive Monster Hunter on the Switch next year? I do think Capcom will do an exclusive. I think Capcom will do an exclusive Monster Hunter. Yes, I do think so. There's too much money there not to.
My dude, once they stop counting the Iceborne money, I'm saying that seriously. Like once they stop counting, so then they'll try it.
I think you will see an exclusive Monster Hunter. It just makes a lot of sense for Capcom to have basically two Monster Hunters next to each other. Sir Crypto says you should really have Jake Baldino from Game Ranks on SpawnCast talk about the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Yeah, also he is a great guy.
I don't trust that guy.
I love Jake.
He puts
He's awesome.
troll comments.
He's a sweetheart.
He puts troll comments on a lot of my videos. He's a really nice guy, but I said squishy once, like 4 times in a video, and he just said like, all right, Dreamcast guy drinking game. Drink what he does.
Yeah, we get Jake on here. That'd be fun. We can do that one Saturday. Then Vanessa says, great cast tonight. Thank you all. Let's go over to Nate. Where can they find you, Nate?
Find me on Twitter at Nate the Hate, followed by the number 2, and on YouTube at Nate the Hate. Also find me on Twitter at DirectFeed Games. I tweet more stuff on that account when I have things to say. I have a video on Nate the Hate coming up on Monday with a special guest, so people should stay on the lookout for that. Have the podcast up right now that came out this week with Jeff and MVG, where we talked about Nintendo's August plans and some of the presentations they may have planned for this month. Yeah, that's about it. But we have some exciting times coming up this month. People should.
This month, there's only 16 days left. There's not much time, Nate.
16 days is plenty of time. I mean, who knows? Nintendo might have a Game of the Year candidate. They might announce one for the Switch this month. Who knows? We'll find out.
Oh, see, that actually answers Birdman's question here. What about Nintendo, guys? Apparently, Birdman.
August.
Game of the Year possibly being announced here. Apparently,
Bayonetta 3.
A Game of the Year candidate.
Bayonetta 3.
And
a Game of the Year candidate or games as one game.
Candidate.
Game of the Year.
A Game of the Year candidate. I'm not saying it's going to win.
Animal Crossing 2. It's finally happened.
Yes. You spoiled it for everyone, Fringe.
New Horizons 2? Dang, dude, they're working quick on that game.
They had to get it out.
Newer Horizons.
They had to finish the game.
So what Nate's
did.
saying is stay tuned over the next couple weeks.
Stay tuned for this month. Nintendo's going to get very talkative. They're going to start giving people what they want, and people can calm down for a little while.
Are you saying RGT can calm down?
Yeah, Sean can calm down.
He's losing it. He's losing it over there.
I just want to know. I just want to know.
I just gotta know.
I
If
just
you listen to my video, he would know. Jeff and MVG and I, we drop those bombs, info bombs on Nate the Hate every week.
Didn't people get salty at you last time or your predictions video and it ended up?
We predicted the wrong direct.
Whoa, the wrong
salty?
No, it was going to be a crappy direct. We knew it was a direct.
You guys got salty? What are you talking about? That's weird. I haven't heard that before.
City frauds, all of you.
Also, if they do it, if they do like an indie world or something first, nobody get too mad. Okay.
We discussed
Please
that.
don't get mad.
We
I
discussed
can't wait
that
for
in
the
the
next
video, too.
Pokemon Direct.
I'm gonna get
whatever
mad.
they call them now.
It's time to get mad.
It's not time to get mad. It's time to get glad.
No.
That's
Happy.
Secret reference. What does that mean? We Happy Few is coming to the Switch. Confirmed.
I forgot that was even a game.
Oh, you said happy.
OJ, where can they find you, man?
You can find me right here on YouTube, at Player Essence on Twitter. This upcoming week, we got some more GameCube stuff. We had our first GameCube stream with Path of Radiance. It was a lot of fun. I stream daily as well. So come through. I answer a lot of questions, talk about a lot of stuff, and we make a lot of jokes and have a lot of fun. Yeah, we do some other stuff as well. Plus, I do video gaming news, so I'll have news up for you guys. I cover a lot of Nintendo JRPG stuff. Chrono Trigger, Fire Emblem, Persona, all that stuff like that. So if you're into all that, check out my channel, and I'd appreciate you subscribing, peeps.
Let's go over to Max, Dreamcast guy.
This week I got some good stuff coming. I think I'm going to do a video tomorrow kind of explaining all the mess of this Dusk Golem thing and the fallout, because everybody seems so confused about fake 4K. And then Monday, I'm super excited to drop that big, huge review for Mortal Shell. God, I'm so brain fried. And thanks everybody. Bunch of new subscribers this week. I appreciate everybody stopping by.
What about Jordan?
If anything, I'm trying to make a movie. Feel free to check out the Kickstarter, learn about the film, learn who I'm working on it with. We have real people like from Hollywood working on this. We have other YouTubers who have great background in film that you may have heard of and have seen their work. We're really excited to work on this film, and we're literally about to hit halfway through our goal already. So check it out, learn about the film.
Cool. And then Evan.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kimrix Project. I've been streaming on Twitch a little bit, trying to get through some commissions, doing some physical stuff, trying to finish up this Dr. Octopus thing.
Ooh.
Got Songbird next, and then some channel stuff. Someone's asking me to help brand their channel, so we might be doing that this week along with playing Fall Guys. So
A lot of commission stuff going on there. That's good to hear.
A lot of people asking.
That's good. Good to hear, man. Very cool. That's going to do it here for SpawnCast. Hopefully next Saturday night we'll have some fun stuff to talk about. 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back then. We'll see you guys.
With tapioca.